Cricket Trivia.
Clive Lloyd, the former West Indian captain, won 15 games and lost just 2. Did you know he was also the first captain to win the World Cup twice, in 1975 and in 1979, a feat which was unmatched over the next 6 World Cups. West Indies team is made of many different countries, therefore the team does not have a national anthem. Did you know that Rally Round the West Indies is the team's national anthem? This song belongs to a Trinidadian singer named David Rudder.
It's the 14th over now, and Steven Smith and his joiners look a little bit comfortable at the centre. Australia are at 68 for 4, and with that, Braithwaite continues with his spell. A dot to start off things with, as Steven Smith is at the strike. How crucial is the role of Steven Smith in this game with no Warner now, no Aaron Finch, no Maxwell for them, and as well as no Usman Khawaja. So how do you feel that Steven Smith needs to take up responsibility?
Well, this is the perfect platform for him to prove that why he is considered as one of the best batsmen of modern day cricket, and you couldn't have asked for more, because it's 69 for 4, and if Steven Smith does manage to score over here, he will be celebrated as a hero, and it will be one brilliant homecoming for him, because he did score 100 in the warm-up game, but let's be honest, it was a warm-up game, it was against England, and those runs don't count, and this is the official game. So if it is a World Cup game, and if Steve Smith does manage to score 100 over here, then I think his previous sins will be cleansed off for a while. It's a 70 for 4 quick single taken by Marcus Stoinis as he flicks it towards the square leg region, and the responsibility that you were talking about was, I think they need to keep chipping in with the runs, and the good news for Australia is that it is a batting turf. There isn't anything significant happening in the wicket, so they can play patiently. They will get the bat deliveries, and they can time that for a 4, and that is exactly what Steven Smith's plan will be.
Well, Steven Smith with that is at the strike as 2 singles on 2 consecutive deliveries of Braithwaite, 3 deliveries, 2 runs coming in for Australia, and now they are at 70 for 4. So fine innings from these two. Steven Smith playing at 15 off of 23. Marcus Stoinis is at 18 off of 21, and with that, Braithwaite has bowled a dot delivery, and he'll continue for the 5th delivery in the over. This time it's pulled back a little, but it's on the leg side of Smith, so that will be another wide delivery. Extra runs keep on piling up for Australia.
Another extra there by West Indies, another run for Australia. 71 for 4 now the score is. Braithwaite has given away 17 runs in 2.4 overs, and it's Carlos Brathwaite once again, Steve again, who bowls in the short delivery, well directed, but it's been tucked away by Steven Smith, and that is exactly what he needs to do, because we were talking about how much effort the short delivery requires. So you just keep wearing the West Indies bowlers out, you keep ducking it, you keep leaving them instead of just countering it, and eventually they'll get tired of it, because it's just 14 overs. They still have a long way to bowl.
Well, they still have a long way to bowl, and they want their pacers to be fit and ready to go when they are brought on again. It's Steven Smith who this time pulls it towards the square leg region for a single as the 14th over concludes, and the drinks are at the centre. So we'll also take a short break. We'll catch you as the drinks break comes to an end. Australia are now at 72 for 4.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
In 1996, Australia's Mark Waugh scored a century against Kenya and then followed it up with 126 against India in Mumbai. Did you know that this was the first instance when a batsman scored 2 consecutive centuries in the World Cup? In fact, in all, Mark Waugh scored 3 centuries in that edition of the tournament.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia. World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Australia's semi-final clash against South Africa ended in a tie. However, Australia marched into the final of the 1999 World Cup. Did you know that Australia had beaten South Africa in the Super 6 stage and thus progressed on the head-to-head rule?
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia. World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
In the 1975 World Cup, Gary Gilmore was the 12th man for Australia during all the group matches. He was selected to play in the semi-final against England in Headingley. Did you know that Gilmore took 6 wickets for 14 runs in that match? He then came to bat when Australia was struggling at 39 for 6 and thrashed 28 runs of 28 balls to take his side to victory.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia. World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Australian spinner Shane Warne was named the man of the match in the semi-finals and the finals of the 1999 World Cup. Did you know that he became the third player to enter the elite list? In 1983, India's Mohinder Amarnath and Sri Lanka's Arvinder De Silva in 1996 were the first two players to have achieved this feat earlier.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia. One station filled with full football fever.
Thinks about the shot, will go for it, and will plant an absolute cracker into the corner to put the icing on what is a very sweet-tasting game for Manchester City.
And you are just one click away.
Sergio Aguero.
Oh, that's vicious. Unstoppable.
Download Sports Flashes app or visit www.sportsflashes.com. Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel. You are tuned into Sports Flashes Radio. Sports Flashes Radio, world's biggest sports radio channel. Sports Flashes, the official broadcast partner of BCCI. Sports Flashes, everything about sports. This is Sports Flashes live.
Mika Häkkinen, the flying Finn from Helsinki, is on his last lap. Looking magnificently good for his 20th World Championship win.
Download Sports Flashes app or visit www.sportsflashes.com. Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel.
It's the 15th over now and the Drakes are off the ground. It's Jason Holder who will be bowling in, Marcus Stoinis and Stephen Smith at the centre as two deliveries have been bowled. A dot on the first one and Stephen Smith took a single to bring Stoinis on strike. Now there's a change in the comm box as well as Wali takes a break and it's Sahil Maggu joining me. Welcome Sahil, and some caution being shown by the Australian batsmen now that they know that they don't have many wickets. 4 wickets already down, but these two are batting quite well at the moment.
Very good afternoon to you, Paritosh, and as you rightly pointed out that Steve Smith has somewhat stabilized the innings along with Marcus Stoinis, as Stoinis is on 19 from 22 deliveries and Smith on 17 from 27. I feel that Steve Smith holds the key for this game because if Australia are to make anything above 250, 260, it has to be a 100 plus knock from Steve Smith. Steve Smith has already been in such situations, so he knows how to play his game, how to especially attack and counter-attack the bowlers when they are at the moment heavy on the batsmen. So he knows what is to be done, and he is probably imparting some knowledge to Marcus Stoinis also, as Stoinis has been steady enough with 4 boundaries, scoring 19 runs. Meanwhile, Jason Holder running in for his 5th delivery as he just conceded 2 runs. Another short delivery. This will probably be a wide because it's on the leg stump, and we'll have to see. It's not given a wide because Steve Smith was bending. So good fortunes there for the West Indies team, but the score for Australia at the moment is 74 for 4. What do you think should be the application from West Indies point of view? And while Australia are trying to preserve the wickets, how do you think they can make those inroads, West Indies?
West Indies, Thomas and Cottrell, they both have 3 overs between them. I think that can be used for the first spell because they have just bowled 3 and 4 overs respectively. They still have 3 overs from them in the first spell left. So I think that should be the key for West Indies as the 15th over now concludes, and with that Australia are now at 7 75 for 4.
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
Jeff Marsh was the coach of the Australian team that won the Cricket World Cup in 1999. This makes him the first person to win the World Cup both as a player and a coach.
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
Here's Ronaldo for the hat-trick, and Cristiano Ronaldo does it again.
Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel. You are tuned into Sports Flashes Radio.
And what a performance by the number 3 seed, Saina Nehwal, who tomorrow will contest a third All-England semi-final.
Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel.
It's the 16th over now as Australia finds some groove in this game. Carlos Brathwaite is continuing with the spell, and Stephen Smith and Stoinis try to maintain composure here at the centre. It's Stephen Smith who's on strike. 2 dot deliveries to start off with for Brathwaite, and another good delivery, this time a little back of the length, and that is also a dot. So Stephen Smith taking his time now to strike runs for Australia.
Well, they have to take their time because it's just the 15th over. They're going at a rate of 4.84. So in terms of the rate at their scoring is fine because Australia already have 75 on the board. But when you see the wickets column, they've lost 4 wickets. So they've lost more than they would have wanted, they would have expected. And as far as taking their time is concerned, they have plenty of time left in this game. There's still 35 overs, about 206 balls to be bowled. So that's a long period, and for in order for these batsmen to get a knock, 100 plus innings, they have to play majority of those deliveries. Whereas for West Indies, they would want the return of Steve Smith as soon as possible. This time another short delivery by Jason Holder. So the short delivery method is being continuously used by the West Indies team. So do you reckon it's a good ploy in the sense that some kind of fear instilled in the batsman, and then you bowl the other one where the batsman tries to attack but in return ends up losing his wicket?
Well, a good ploy, but I don't know for how far they'll be able to carry on with that, because the modern day cricket, it's closely being watched by other teams as well, who are they going to face in the future games. And this time it's Stephen Smith who picks up the length and drives it on the offside through the covers for a boundary. So runs keep on coming for Australia with that, are at 79 for 4.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Australian opener Adam Gilchrist scored 149 runs of 104 deliveries against Sri Lanka in the final of the 2007 World Cup. Did you know that Adam Gilchrist had a squash ball in his gloves while he batted in the innings? Gilchrist kept this ball on the advice of his coach from Perth.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
We are back live as West Indies face Australia in this encounter, and Australia have already lost their 4 wickets. Some sort of stability provided by Steve Smith and Marcus Stoinis. Smith is on 22, Marcus Stoinis on 19, as their score is 79 for 4. Short delivery that's been pulled, and as I was saying about the stability, here's another wicket which has been gifted by Marcus Stoinis. Jason Holder strikes, a good catch there by short mid-wicket, and Australia lose yet another wicket in the form of Marcus Stoinis. West Indies on the attack, Holder picks up his first, and Stoinis would definitely be dejected as he's given away his wicket. 79 for 5, Australia.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Australia were handed a 13-run defeat in their first match during the 1983 World Cup. Did you know that Australia was beaten in this match by non-test playing nation Zimbabwe, who were playing their first ever match in the World Cup?
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia. One station filled with full football fever.
Thinks about the shot, will go for it, and will bank an absolute cracker into the corner.
just one click away.
Sergio Aguero.
Oh, that's vicious! Unstoppable!
Download Sports Flashes app or visit www.sportsflashes.com. Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel. Sports Flashes. You are listening to Sports Flashes live.
Tony finishes off in style. A magnificent strike into the crowd. India lift the World Cup. Pulls it back. Here's Ronaldo for the hat-trick. And Cristiano Ronaldo does it again.
Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel. World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
West Indies won the Cricket World Cup in 1975 and 1979. Did you know that West Indies is also the first team to appear in the final of the World Cup thrice in succession? West Indies also played the final in 1983 but lost to India. West Indies' Clive Lloyd and Australia's Ricky Ponting are the only two captains to have won the World Cup twice. Lloyd in 1975 and 1979 and Ponting in 2003 and 2007.
You are tuned into Sports Flashes Radio. Sports Flashes Radio. World's biggest sports radio channel. Sports Flashes, the official broadcast partner of BCCI. Sports Flashes, everything about sports.
We were talking about some stability from the batsmen who were out in the middle in the form of Marcus Stoinis and Steve Smith. But just when we were mentioning that, Marcus Stoinis pulled that short delivery from Jason Holder for a simple catch at the short mid-wicket region. 79 for 5 is Australia, struggling at the moment as Alex Carey works out in the middle to give company to his former Australian captain, Steve Smith. Steve Smith on 22. Carey has just played a couple of deliveries and let them go by. Get a feel of what is happening as Holder has bowled 3 deliveries, conceded no run and picked up the wicket of Marcus Stoinis. Paritosh, we talk about Australia and West Indies in this game. Australia's were touted to be favourite as Alex Carey has walked out. We'll just give his stats. 429 runs in 18 innings at an average of 30.64. Decent bat to come out at number 7, but then when you have the batting lineup so deep and you have people like, you have celebrities I would say like David Warner, Usman Khwaja, Aaron Finch, Maxwell, all of those not contributing to the team's cause, getting dismissed one after the other and playing aggressive shots which are not the need of the hour. So it has to be pointed out that it's a 50 over game and not a 20 over game, and these shots can be avoided.
Well, these shots can be avoided, but it's just that they have miscued everything at the moment. It's Steven Smith who is still fighting for Australia. They are now at 79 for 5 after 17 overs.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Australia beat India by just 1 run in their tournament opener in the 1987 World Cup. Did you know that Indian captain Kapil Dev's sportsman spirit played a part in Australia's victory as the Aussies were credited 2 more runs to their total during the innings break? The Australian team contended that one of the fours by their batsmen was actually a 6 and Kapil Dev willingly allowed 2 runs to the opposition.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
79 for 5 is Australia as they have lost half of their side. Steve Smith, the Lone Ranger, plays this one straight down the ground and it's a quick single for Steve Smith and Australia. The score moves on to 80 as Carey will now face. Carey is yet to get out the mark. Steve Smith on 23. We'll give you a quick update as to what happened. Jason Holder won the toss, elected to bowl first, and Australia, the captain of Australia, Aaron Finch, was the first one to be dismissed. He was caught by Shea Hope on the bowling of Thomas. The next one to go was David Warner as it was a good catch by Hetmeyer on the bowling of Cottrell, and after that it was a string of wickets that fell one after the other. Usman Khwaja scored 13, Maxwell scored a duck, while Marcus Stoinis was the last man to be dismissed on 19. Steve Smith on 23 would want to continue with his good form of runs, and from Australia's point of view there is not a lot of batting left. There is just Nathan Coulter-Nile, Pat Cummins, Stark and Zampa. Meanwhile, this is struck on the stumps and it's a close call. We'll have to see what the umpire says. It's a not out at the moment and Carlos Brathwaite seems convinced with that decision as he moves to holder and now probably would refer for the DRS. 4 seconds left and they have taken a DRS. So another course call for Australia on that occasion as it struck the pads and it seemed pretty dead duck, one would say, but the umpire's call is not out, so some advantage for Australia because even if it's the umpire's call, the review would be retained.
Well, certainly something positive for Australia, but he looked confident here. Carlos Brathwaite straight away moved to the captain and they have decided for the DRS slightly on the pad on that occasion, on the upward side of the pad, and right now they're having a look at it, the third umpire, and it is there's no bat involved, that's for sure. It's straight onto the pads, and we'll have to wait for the third umpire now pitching outside off, impact in line, and it's missing the wicket, so the review is lost, and West Indies with that will have to be disappointed and they'll have no DRS call for the rest of this innings.
Well, the only factor saving Alex Carey there was the height, and it was so. The height was an important point that we thought would play a crucial role in this review, and the umpire got it spot on as it was missing the stumps. So with that, West Indies lose their review, and somehow they were not able to pick the wicket of Alex Carey as they go in charges in again Carlos Brathwaite. Another delivery on the stumps that has been deflected by Carey, who is yet to get off the mark. He's played 7 deliveries and is on a duck at the moment. 80 for 5 Australia, Smith on 23. The lone ranger we keep saying for Steve Smith. And even if Australia are to make a game out of this one, what do you think would be a par score? Because it's a track which favors the batsman. It's a belter. This is the same pitch where 480 plus runs were scored in an ODI by the England team. So when you see 80 for 5, obviously it's not doing justice. This one's in the air and falls short of Carlos Brathwaite. So testing time for Alex Carey as he's surviving by the scuff of it.
He's just surviving on the edge right now, and so are Australia, because this wicket would lay very heavily on them, and this time it's onto the pad from the bat, and it was just short of Brathwaite as he came running in to catch that one. And on that occasion, Alex Carey survives. He is facing some troubled times at the moment at the centre. A short delivery this time, and he has backed away from that one. So Alex Carey not trying to dwell too much on the short deliveries. He's just waiting for a delivery to get off with.
Yes, absolutely. 80 for 5 and consecutive dot deliveries, 4 dot deliveries. Carey is still on the score. He's yet to get off the mark because he has faced about 9 deliveries and he's still yet to score a single. He's on 0. The projected score at the moment is 224 if they go at this rate, but one needs to question the fact that whether they'll have enough wickets by that time. 18 overs completed. Australia are 80 for 5.
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
Jeff Marsh was the coach of the Australian team that won the Cricket World Cup in 1999. This makes him the first person to win the World Cup both as a player and a coach.
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
80 for 5 is Australia after 18 overs have been bowled. Steve Smith, the Lone Ranger, on 23, who is joined by Alex Carey, who is yet to get off the mark. He's faced 10 deliveries, but is still on 0. Carlos Brathwaite has bowled 5 overs, giving away 23 runs. Hasn't picked up a wicket yet, but when we talk about the other bowlers in the lineup, they have been exceptional. O'Shane Thomas has bowled 3 overs, giving away 22 runs, picking up 1 wicket. Sheldon Cottrell, 4 overs, 11 runs, 2 wickets, while Andre Russell has just bowled 3 overs, giving away 11, picking up 1 more wicket. Jason Holder has the same figures, who has bowled 3 overs, given away 11 runs and picked up a wicket. So good, decent performances from all the West Indies bowlers, but when you talk about the batting, and I asked you this, that what do you think would be a decent par score or a par score at the moment that Australia would be comfortable?
I think they should at least be targeting 250-300 at the moment. And I know it's a difficult task, but with Steven Smith at the centre, everything is possible. And anything short of 200 is certainly very easily achievable because it's not looking like it's too tough to bat on the pitch. It's just that West Indies have performed brilliantly with the ball right from the start to get rid of initial 5 wickets under 18 overs. And now it's Stephen Smith who's at the centre, as O'Shane Thomas has been brought back. So he has bowled 2 dot deliveries as of now, and the third one is also a dot, as Stephen Smith is only able to push it towards the leg region and easily caught by the fielder present there. So with that, Stephen Smith is playing at 23 of 40 deliveries. Australia now at 80 for 5, as O'Shane Thomas strides in for the 4th delivery.
Yes, O'Shane Thomas, who was given the new ball, has now been introduced back into the attack. He's bowled 3 deliveries, and all those 3 deliveries have been dots. He's yet to be scored off, as Steve Smith pushes that one towards the mid-off area, but no run on that occasion as well. 41 deliveries for Steve Smith, but that won't count at the moment because he has more important duties to fulfill. He has to stay till the end. He has to play that anchor from the time that he came in and hope that someone stays with him. Right now, it is Alex Carey who's out in the middle. The batting to follow is it holds some prowess, but not that good, as it's just Coulter, Nile, Cummins, Stark and Zampa. So 250, you were saying for 250 they need at least 170 more runs, 169 to be precise, and most of that need to come from the bat of Steve Smith.
Well, certainly, but Alex Carey also needs to stick here for Australia, and he certainly is aware of the fact that Australia are reeling at the moment. They have already lost half their team. Half their team is back into the hut. 5 wickets gone, 5 still remain for them, and this time it's short of the length to the leg side of Smith, as an awkward shot by Steve Smith on that occasion, as the fielder collects. So O'Shane Thomas is causing some problems for Stephen Smith even.
Well, that was close because it was up in the air and it just fell short of Nicholas Pooran, who was placed towards the square leg region, short square leg region, and Steve Smith, taken by surprise, he wasn't anticipating that much bounce on that occasion. Well, he survives this one, as this is the 5th dot delivery. Another short delivery probably will be given as a wide. Yes, it has been given as a wide. 82 now Australia after the loss of 5 wickets. And when you talk about the runs that have dried up, in terms of the overs, there are still 31 overs to be bowled after this one. So a lot of cricket to be played. The extras out of the 82 score is 18, out of which 15 are wide. So the clear tactics for West Indies is that they will be bouncing their oppositions.
Well, certainly, and for Australia, the good thing is that 18 extras mean 18 odd runs. So out of 82, that is 1/4 almost of the runs have come off of extras. And for Australia, that will conclude the over, as well as O'Shane Thomas now bowls in another fine over.
19 overs have been completed. Australia 82 for 5.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
In the 2003 World Cup, Adam Gilchrist was given not out by the umpire to an appeal by Sri Lankan team of the bowling of Arvind De Silva. Did you know that Gilchrist decided to walk despite being given not out by the umpire?
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Jason Holder is back into the attack for his 4th over. 82 for 5. Australia at the moment just played 19 overs. Paritosh, this has been a situation for a lot of teams that they have tried. They've actually created a hole for themselves and they've fallen down deeper as they go with the innings. They've played shots in an ODI format which could have been escaped or evaded.
Well, certainly they have, and now it's Alex Carey and Stephen Smith. As Alex Carey still to open his account, 10 dot deliveries he's paid, and Holder bangs with that one shot, and another dot delivery for Jason Holder, as this time it's Alex Carey who is struggling to open his account. Stephen Smith on the other end is at 23 of 43 deliveries, and Australia are at 82 for 5.
82 for 5 is what Australia are at the moment. Carey yet to score his account. Holder, on the other hand, has bowled his 3 overs. He's into his 4th, given away just 11 runs and picked up 1 wicket. So the line and length, another short delivery there on that occasion. So as we were discussing, the plan is pretty simple from the management, that they will be consisting. They will be going ahead with the short deliveries that they have planned out. Even if they've given 18 extras, that doesn't matter. What matters is one short delivery at the right angle, one would say, and 1 wicket that it could yield.
Well, certainly that is what they are looking forward here. Australian side are struggling, and West Indies know how crucial the wicket of Steven Smith can prove out to be, as it's Alex Carey who is facing third delivery of the over, and another good delivery travelling away from Alex Carey, and he still remains scoreless. He's yet to score something, and he's playing like it's a test game at the moment.
They have to play it like a test match, because they have 30 overs left after this one, which will be 180 deliveries, and if Steve Smith is there at the crease, he needs company from someone. But since he has played 13 deliveries already, let's just try to play a guessing game. How many deliveries before you think he'll get off the mark? My bet is on 17.
Well, he'll get off the mark in the next delivery.
On
the 15th one.
On the 15th one. Okay, we have Wali also in the com box. Wali, what is your take as to when will Carey... Wali is saying that he'll get on 0, so that is something that we'll have to wait and watch. He hasn't given a number as to what delivery he'll get on the mark. He straight away said that he will get out on 0. And we get back to the celebrations that initially we were discussing. West Indies, they've always been the forerunner when it comes to being animated and bringing on new celebrations. This time from Sheldon Cottrell, as it's another short delivery, and Paritosh is right. He gets off of the mark finally on the 15th delivery. So congratulations, Paritosh, and good fortune for Carey, as he's finally out of the mark.
He's off the mark now, Alex Carey. 1 run in 15 deliveries. It's amusing to see someone struggle so badly. But West Indies are completely being dominant here. They're not letting anything slide easily. Not even that single, because the fielder came running in as Alex Carey ran for a single in the last 6.5 overs. Only 15 runs have come off, including a wicket. So a fine spell for West Indies this one, as they removed Marcus Stoinis from the centre, and with that the 20th over is concluded. Australia are at 83 for 5.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
West Indies won the Cricket World Cup in 1975 and 1979. Did you know that West Indies is also the first team to appear in the final of the World Cup thrice in succession? West Indies also played the final in 1983 but lost to India. West Indies' Clive Lloyd and Australia's Ricky Ponting are the only two captains to have won the World Cup twice. Lloyd in 1975 and 1979, and Ponting in 2003 and 2007.
20 overs done now, and Australia are at 83 for 5, and a single was taken by Alex Carey. And with that, it's Alex Carey who's back on strike, and he'll now look for some runs. The first delivery has been pushed towards the off region, and that'll be again a dot delivery. So dot deliveries after dot deliveries for West Indies, as the first two sessions have been completely dominated by West Indies. Only there was a respite for Australia when Marcus Stoinis and Steven Smith were at the centre. There was a partnership, but it was broken, and now it's Alex Carey who's struggling, as O'Shane Thomas bowls in the 5th over of his 10 over quota. O'Shane Thomas also a brilliant bowler. He's been fantastic, and in the 11th till 20th over, 35 runs came off only for Australia, including a wicket. So somewhat stability provided by the duo of Steven Smith and Marcus Stoinis, but he is now departed, and it's Alex Carey to accompany Steven Smith from here on.
Yes, we were talking about O'Shane Thomas and Sheldon Cottrell. Both these bowlers don't have that much experience as other seamers from different oppositions would have. Between the two, they've just played 35 ODIs. However, that is not an important factor. The important factor is that despite the inexperience, they have been consistent with their line and lengths. They have been capable enough to bounce the opposition and pick up wickets on regular intervals. We saw this. It wasn't a one-time thing, because we saw this against Pakistan as well, when they bundled them out for 105, and at the moment Australia are 84 for 5, struggling. So credit goes to the management for picking up the World Cup team, thinking about their skills that they can execute, and that's exactly what they've done. Both Thomas and Cottrell have executed their skills to perfection.
Well, they both have done quite well in this game, as it's Steven Smith now who is amongst the mix of things. He's batting right now at 23 for 45, as Alex Carey is now on 2 off of 18 after a single was taken on the third delivery of O'Shane Thomas in this over. 4 deliveries of being bowled, 3 dots and a single. So Steven Smith will now face the 5th delivery of the over. Australia are at 84 for 5. and they require Steven Smith to go on big from here on, as this time it's been picked by Steven Smith towards the square leg region, but will only result in a single. So that brings Alex Carey back on strike.
Well, it seems like the men in maroon have a proper plan in action. Wherever the ball is going, they have a fielder placed, so they're bowling according to their plans, and it's great to see someone like West Indies, a team like West Indies, come out so good in a tournament like the World Cup, because we have been discussing this time and again that majority of the senior pros in the West Indies team have been playing for the Big Bash leagues. Meanwhile, this is up in the air and it evades the fielder as a third man fielder there does the cover-up job, but that could have been a catch, just fingertips, but survives again, Carey.
Survives again, and with that, it's 86 for 5 Australia after 21 overs.
This is Sports Flashes live.
Mika Hakkinen, the flying Finn from Helsinki, is on his last lap. Looking magnificently good for his 20th World Championship win.
Download Sports Flashes app or visit www.sportsflashes.com. Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel. Sports Flashes.
86 for 5 is Australia after 21 overs, and we were talking about how West Indies players usually, a couple of years ago, the scene was like the senior pros of the team were playing T20 leagues and not playing for the West Indies team. However, this time around for the World Cup, they have the services of Chris Gayle, Andre Russell is back, so they have given enough importance. While they had the services of these players in the T20 format, they were not in the one-day format. But this time, as we were discussing, they have been roped in back again, and it shows that they are keen on performing well in this tournament and proving a point. And so far, they have done so.
They have done so far, as Chris Gayle struck a half century in the first match, and Andre Russell provided with the wickets. He has been amongst the wickets in this game as well. So it'll be interesting to see when West Indies are having a tough ask, or they bat first, how someone like Andre Russell perform, who is known to score big and go for maximums when required. It's West Indies who are currently all over Australia, and Australia are batting at 86 for 5 with Steven Smith being the the highest run scorer for Australia with 24 over 46. It's Alex Carey who's batting at 3 over 22, who is facing Jason Holder in this over. 3 dot deliveries back to back by Holder, and they are all over Australia at the moment.
Yes, they're all over Australia at the moment, and that's the start. That's the kind of start that both Sheldon Cottrell and O'Shane Thomas provided the West Indies quicks, and they didn't let it down because it was followed up very well by Russell as well as Holder. So the attack is still going on as Australia try to find a salvageable score, something for their bowlers to defend, and it's another dot. So we probably should start a quiz as to how many dots where there'll be in an over when Carey is batting. 4 already. Would you think it's going to be a maiden, or will he take a single?
He'll take a single. He gets a single here and there. That has been the story for the past 3 overs, and we can expect the same in this over as well, as Jason Holder is now looking to conclude another fine over. Only 12 runs in 4.4 overs from him, and also a wicket to his name. So everybody has bowled well for West Indies, but there has been certain stability amongst the batsmen.
That's the 5th dot now, and I have my money that it will be a maiden over, while Paritosh thinks that he will take a single, while he's shadow practicing to play a shot on the leg side and get off the mark. In this over, he's already off the mark. He scored 3 runs from 24 deliveries. We'll have to see whether he manages that single or not, but as far as I am concerned, I feel it's gonna be another dot, while Paritosh thinks that it is going to be a shot on the offside that will yield him a single as Holder races in, and this is what's going to be. It's another dot. It's a maiden over, and Paritosh, you've lost this bet. 22 overs completed, Australia 86 for 5.
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
Australian spinner Shane Warne was banned from the 2003 Cricket World Cup after he had failed a drug test. Did you know that Warne said that the pill he had taken was actually given to him by his mother?
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
Stephen Smith and Alex Carey at the centre. Alex Carey just faced a maiden over from Jason Holder, the captain, and Australia are now at 86 for 5 after 22. Stephen Smith is now on strike. He's batting at 24 of 46 with 3 boundaries to his name, and it's another pacer from the other end who will now be bowling into Stephen Smith, as he this time just punches it on the leg side for a single. So this one won't be a maiden one, as it is O'Shane Thomas who has been brought back in this over.
Well, no spin introduced so far. We have seen the other teams use their spinners fairly early in the game. Imran Tahir was using the first over itself yesterday as well. But for West Indies, when their paces are doing such a good job, you don't probably need the service of Ashley Nurse, who's playing in the team, is a right-hand off-break bowler, off-spin bowler. And when you've given that there's a left hand in the form of Alex Carey, would you want to try giving an over of spin, or would you continue with the pacers?
Well, they are trying to get everyone 5-6 overs, and then I think they'll introduce the spin options. And this time it's O'Shane Thomas who has a wicket to his name, 28 runs in his previous overs. So he'll be looking for some wickets in this over, as it's Alex Carey and Stephen Smith who try to negate things for Australia at the moment. Another short delivery, but this time played well. He slaps that one over the gully fielder, and that will race for the boundary for a 4. So a smart shot there by Alex Carey, and he is playing that one on the offside. I told you that he's bluffing with the short practice on the leg side. He'll play it on the off, and this time he did that. So another boundary for Australia and runs for Australia in this over.
Yes, indeed. That was a risky shot, one would say, as there are 2 slips, 1 gully fielder and a 3rd man, but he was able to place it between above all of those fielders, and get 4 runs to his credit. So he moves on to 7, and it was quite above, but risky, one would still say, as there are fielders there patrolling that region. Another short delivery which he lets go by, and O'Shane Thomas with the stare. We were talking about other teams, and when we talk about other teams, one team that hasn't done fairly well so far is the South African team. It is the first time that they've lost 3 back-to-back matches in a World Cup, and we've just got to know about a news which was shared in the morning, that AB de Villiers was available for the World Cup a day before the team was to be announced, but the management refused. So do you think it was a good move from the management, because it would have been too late for AB de Villiers to be included, but given how AB de Villiers has been and how he can change the game and what a player he is, he could have been included in the team? What are your reactions on those?
Yes, AB de Villiers is a crucial player, and he provided the management with his option, but I think it would have been unfair on the other players who played after his retirement and were there for the South African side, given that how AB de Villiers is as a player. But if South Africa would have performed well, nobody would have even raised any question about AB de Villiers. But after 3 dismal performance, one can ask that what AB de Villiers would have provided with the bat, as another boundary for Stephen Smith on that occasion. Or was it Alex Carey on the 5th delivery, and a single is taken on the final delivery. And with that, Australia are at 96 for 5 after 23 overs.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Australian opener Adam Gilchrist scored 149 runs of 104 deliveries against Sri Lanka in the final of the 2007 World Cup. Did you know that Adam Gilchrist had a squash ball in his gloves while he batted in the innings? Gilchrist kept this ball on the advice of his coach from Perth.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
96 for 5 Australia after 23 overs, as we get into the 24th over. Still no spin introduced. This was a similar situation for South Africa yesterday when they were playing against India. They were tottering at 158 for 7, and after that there was a late flourish by the tail-enders, especially Chris Morris and Kagiso Rabada, which helped them post a total of 228. And once they resumed the second innings, they made sure that it was a tough battle. So even if Australia, if they can somehow manage, a lot of credit for that would go and depend on Steve Smith. But if they're able to score around anything above 250, 240, 250, it would certainly be an evenly balanced contest.
Well, it will be an evenly balanced contest if they are able to negate the innings over to 40 at this point, because it's Australia who are struggling at the moment with 96 for 5 on board. It's Cottrell who's been brought back and he'll be bowling in the 5th over of his quota, as this time it has been slashed on the offside by Alex Carey, and you're talking him being lucky. Now he's picking on the bowlers at the moment as he slams that one over the gully and slip positions, and that will be another 4. So 100 up for Australia with that shot as Alex Carey chances his arms.
Well, first convincing shot there by Alex Carey. The first 2 ones lucky. There was a cover drive which also got a 4 in the previous over, but this one he was on the top of the ball and he played it towards the third min region for another boundary. So 100 up with that boundary in 23.2 overs. 5 wickets have been lost. Another short delivery. He tries to play it uppishly. This will again be a boundary. So finally, after all those dots, Carey is making it count as he strikes his 4th boundary and moves on to 20. With that shot, he's on 20 along with former Australian skipper Steve Smith, who's on 25. Good back-to-back shots there, and this would certainly ease up the pressure from both the Australian batsmen.
Certainly, that will ease the pressure on both the Australian batsmen. 2 consecutive boundaries for Alex Carey on both on the offside. This one over the point fielder as it's Cottrell who's been slammed for 2 consecutive 4s. He had conceded only 11 runs before this over in his 4, and he has been taken apart in this over. As of now, it's Alex Carey who just defends that one for a single. So smart batting by Carey, not going for the risky shot on that occasion, and 9 runs already in this over in the first 4 deliveries, as it's Stephen Smith who will now face the 5th one. And Australia with that are at 105 for 5. The run rate currently for Australia is 4.44, but that will increase massively as the innings proceed. It's Sheldon Cottrell who is at the centre now, pacing things for West Indies. Jason Holder is just trying to get another wicket with his bowlers being currently rotated, but now they are settled in. Stephen Smith and Alex Carey. Stephen Smith just punches that one on the leg side for another single, that would be. So Alex Carey will now face the final delivery of the over.
Yes, final delivery of the over up to be bowled by Cottrell, who's given away 10 runs in this over, 4.5 overs for him. His figures of 2 for 21, and Carey now seems comfortable at the crease with 21 to his name from 34 deliveries, while Smith is on 26 from 48. 106 the total for Australia, and this would complete the 24th over. We were talking about a score in excess of 240, 250, something that the Australian bowlers would definitely want from their batsmen. And if you talk about, meanwhile, that's another over-pitch delivery, and what a brilliant shot there by Alex Carey. So 3rd boundary was the 4th boundary, the initial part of the over. He completes the over with the 5th boundary. A brilliant cover dive there. 24 overs have been completed. Australia 110 for 5.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Australia enjoyed a 34-match unbeaten streak from 1999 till the 2011 World Cup. Did you know that Pakistan was the team that beat Australia in England in 1999 World Cup just before Australia's purple patch? And it was Pakistan again that ended Australia's unbeaten run in Colombo in 2011.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
25th over up now as Australia try to post something on board that they'd like to defend, as it's Australia who are at 110 for 5. After that, it's Stephen Smith and Alex Carey who are trying to build a partnership here. Alex Carey at 25 of 35 deliveries, while Stephen Smith is batting at 26 of 48. A good over, the 24th one, as 3 boundaries came off that over, and this time it's Jason Holder who is bowling in to Stephen Smith as he slams that one for another boundary. So boundaries keep on coming for Australia, as now Stephen Smith tries that one, and that was a dropped catch, as well as Cottrell on that occasion dropped that one, slipped and completely baffling that catch, as there was a chance for West Indies to strike big with Jason Holder. Stephen Smith on that occasion tried pulling it hard, but top edged that one as Sheldon Cottrell tried coming under that one, slipped at the final step, and that'll conclude the boundary. So he was close to the delivery but slipped in the final moments. That could have been a close chance.
Yes, certainly it was a close chance for West Indies as Steve Smith tried to hook that one, got the top edge of the bat, and as the fielder tried to get under it, it was spilled. The next delivery is followed up with a shot towards the mid-wicket region for 3 runs. So great running there by Steve Smith. He is fit as a fiddle.
He is fit as a fiddle, and certainly the off time hasn't been able to get to him, as it's Australia who are piling on the runs here with Steven Smith and Alex Carey. Australia now are at 117 for 5 after 7 overs have been scored on the first 2 deliveries of Holder in this over. The second power play is on. That means that only 4 fielders are allowed outside the 30-yard circle, as it's Jason Holder who will steam in for the 3rd delivery against Alex Carey. Alex Carey now at 25 of 35. Jason Holder steams in. Another good delivery this time. Fuller than the delivery, travels away from the batsman and easily towards Shai Hope, who collects it. And that will also be a good delivery, a good comeback from Jason Holder after being struck for a boundary and 3 runs in the previous 2, as it's Alex Carey who is now on strike.
Yes, Alex Carey is on strike. He has struck 5 boundaries overall for his 25 runs from 36 deliveries. He's accompanying Steve Smith, and some sort of resurrection for the Australian team as they take a quick single on that occasion. Steve Smith, we've been talking about how fit he is and how good he is between the wickets. They took 3 on the second delivery, and now they've taken a quick single. So 8 runs have come from this over so far from the 4 deliveries that Holder has bowled. Well, it could have been a wicket in West Indies' favour, but these are the moments that change the game, and these are the moments that as a batsman you want to go in your favour, so that the luck that you need, some sort of luck, some shots that you want to play, you get more comfortable on the crease.
Certainly, and for Australian duo of Steven Smith and Alex Carey, they need a lot of luck here because West Indies they are trying for a wicket, as this time it's been punched on the leg side for another single. So runs keep on coming for Australia, as this time it's Steven Smith who slammed that one on the square leg boundary for a single, just punches it, and he'll be the one who will be standing at the non-strikers end with that one, as it's Jason Holder who will now steam in for the final delivery.
119 for 5 Australia at the moment. 24.5 overs have been bowled as the last delivery is played towards the covers region. No run on that occasion. 25 overs completed. Australia 119 for 5.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
As much as Andy Roberts is known for his bowling, you can't discount him for his batting skills. Did you know he, along with Joel Garner, made 71 runs for the 10th wicket against India in their opening tie of the 1983 World Cup? Their record still remains the highest for the last wicket. Gordon Greenidge, Clive Lloyd and Andy Roberts were one of the first to be inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame. Did you know the trio was instrumental in winning successive World Cups in 1975 and 1979?
It's the 26th over now as Australia bat on at 119 for 5. West Indies won the toss early on and opted to bowl, and the decision have worked in their favour.
Yes, indeed. The captain, Jason Holder himself, leading from the front. Sheldon Cottrell, who will be bowling his 5th over, has picked up 2 wickets, 6th over rather, has picked up 2 wickets in and given away just 25 runs, along with O'Shane Thomas, who made the early inroads. So, a decent stabilizing between these two, because Marcus Stoinis was doing that role, but he got tempted with the short delivery, tried to pull it, was eventually caught at short mid-wicket. Now that these two have gotten some sort of start, one would say, both are beyond 25, Carey on 26 while Smith on 35. From Australia's point of view, they would hope and expect at least another 15 overs. For another 15 overs, these two stay at the crease, so that Coulter-Nile and Stark, the bowling all-rounders, can pile up with some runs in the later half of the innings.
Well, certainly they need to stay at the centre, these two, because fine starts for both of them. Alex Carey now batting on at 26, and he's the one on strike after a single was taken on the very first delivery of Cottrell in this over. Steven Smith on the non-strikers, and he's batting at 35 of 52. Carey has to play a crucial role as Steven Smith, the more prominent batsman, is now looking very confident. Alex Carey also getting under runs now as he's batting at 26. It's Cottrell who's bowling in for the third delivery. This time it's been defended on the offside for a single. So they are trying to sneak singles whenever they can, the Australian side, and they are getting it. Positive news for Australia is that they are beyond that position where they lost 4 wickets under 40 runs, and they are now having a decent partnership with Steven Smith and Alex Carey.
Yes, they had lost 4 wickets in 10 overs, and the score was about 48 runs. So from there, at that position, they have sort of rebuilt the innings as they are now placed at 121 for 5. It would have been much better if Marcus Stoinis would have still been at the crease. Meanwhile, another short delivery there by Cottrell. So the peppering up of the batsmen with the short deliveries is something that we'll see till the very end of this innings as 26th over is in progress. But we were talking about the rebuilding phase. Yes, they are on 121. They would want to double their score. Ideally, it's a saying in cricket that whatever score you have achieved in the first 30 overs, you want to double it as a side, and that would be a safe approach. But for Australia at the moment, they are 121 for 5. Anything if they can get in excess of 250, 260 with the likes of Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc and Nathan Coulter in their armory, it will definitely be an interesting contest.
Well, it will be an interesting contest to see how the Australian bowlers fare in the second innings. But in the first innings, for that to happen, Australia need to score at least 250 on board for the bowlers to come in. And this time it's Steven Smith and Alex Carey who are providing some runs for their side. And with that, it will be the final delivery of the over as Cottrell steams in towards Alex Carey. Another short delivery, and that will conclude the over. 26 overs now done. Australia are at 122 for 5.
One station filled with full football fever.
Thinks about the shot, will go for it, and will plant an absolute cracker into the corner to put the icing on what is a very sweet tasting game for Manchester City.
And you are just one click away.
Sergio Aguero. Oh, that's vicious. Unstoppable.
Download Sports Flashes app or visit www.sportsflashes.com. Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel. Sports Flashes.
And it's the 27th over now as Australia struggle their way to a total here. And after being initially struck for quick wickets, Australia are somewhat stabilized by Steven Smith and Alex Carey, who are batting for them at the moment. The duo have piled on some runs here for Australia as Australia are batting at 122 for 5. Steven Smith now is on strike against Jason Holder, and the first delivery is a dot one. On the second time, Steven Smith gets hold of that, tries to drive that one through the covers, but the fielder collects and a single is taken. So now Alex Carey will face the third delivery. Jason Holder, another fine over from him resulted in the previous over, as in the 6.2 overs he has conceded only 22 runs as of now, as a single was taken on the second delivery. In the first 6 overs he conceded only 21 with a wicket to his name, economy of 3.41. And a lot will depend upon how Steven Smith fares in the game. He's batting at 37, Alex Carey at 27. This time punches it on the offside, and that will race towards the boundary. So another boundary for Alex Carey. He's dealing in boundaries at the moment. Sixth boundary for Alex Carey, and a fantastic shot of Jason Holder.
Well, that's the right approach, one would say. He waited a lot of deliveries. We were guessing, and we were mucking around with the fact that when will he get off the mark. But now that he's gotten off the mark and he has found his form, he struck back-to-back boundaries. And look at that cover drive, taking his foot out, reaching towards the middle of the ball, and then timing it from the middle of the bat. So good impact there, and what a good shot there on that occasion. With that boundary, he moves on to 31, and another cover drive there, but this time the fielder at covers was there, so no runs on that occasion. But Carey seems to be in a good nick.
Well, he seems to be in a good nick. Another interesting point from his batting is that he's trying to counter-attack the opposition, and he is playing shots where most of the fielders are at the moment. All of his boundaries, if you look at it, are on the offside where they're trying to get an edge and get him out, but he's just providing Australia with some counter attack as he's getting boundaries in that positions. As this time it's Holder who bangs it towards the leg side of Alex Carey, tucked away nicely, but a fielder would come in, and that'll be a quick double for Alex Carey and Australia, as the score for Australia is now at 129 for 5.
Another interesting factor in Alex Carey's innings so far is that he has not forced any shot. Whatever has come in his zone, if it's in his arc, then he has timed it well, he's placed it well, and got the runs for the shots that he has played. Whereas if you see the other batsmen, especially Glenn Maxwell or Marcus Stoinis, they tried to take on the opposition and played shots where they were not comfortable, and in the process they lost their wickets, as Carey lets the last delivery from Holder let go to the keeper. 27 overs have been completed. Australia 129 for 5.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Clive Lloyd, the former West Indian captain, won 15 games and lost just 2. Did you know he was also the first captain to win the World Cup twice, in 1975 and in 1979, a feat which was unmatched over the next 6 World Cups. West Indies team is made of many different countries, therefore the team does not have a national anthem. Did you know that Rally Round the West Indies is the team's national anthem? This song belongs to a Trinidadian singer named David Rudder.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Anderson Cummins is only the second player to represent 2 different teams in the World Cup. Did you know he represented West Indies in the 1992 World Cup and Canada in 2007? The other is Kepler Wessels, who played for Australia in 1983 and South Africa in 1992. Cricket is the only sport and the World Cup is the only global tournament played by the 16 affiliate members of the West Indies.
129 for 5 Australia after 27 overs, and spin finally introduced into the attack as Ashley Nurse will get a chance. We were discussing as to when will there be some spin from the West Indies opposition. They've just used their pacers, and now it's Ashley Nurse who will be introduced finally. With this, there's another change in the comm box. Now joining me is Shibaji Das. Shibaji, a great start there for West Indies as they have picked up 5 wickets, and Australia are 129 for them. Meanwhile, the first delivery from Ashley Nurse has been driven and took the inside edge of Steve Smith's bat, almost nicked the stumps, so he survives. A good start for Nurse. We were talking about how West Indies have performed in this game. They've picked up 5 wickets. Australia are 130 for 5. They've had some sort of a rebuilding phase going on with both earlier with Stoinis and Steve Smith, now with Steve Smith at the crease along with Alex Carey. What do you think would be the right approach for the Australian team?
West Indies have started brilliantly today, getting quick wickets. Earlier for Australia, 4 quick wickets, and then Marcus Stoinis the last over to go. Australia now 130 for 5. Sort of rebuilding process going on by Steve Smith and Alex Carey, both on 38 and 37 respectively, as Alex Carey has reverse swept it for 4. Australia moved to 138 for 5. They'll have to play patiently now, just 28th over going on. Now they've already lost 5 wickets, so these 2 will have to bat on for at least the 40th over.
Yes, 134 for 5, and Alex Carey has reverse swept the second delivery from Ashley Nurse for yet another boundary. What a good shot there, and he certainly is beaming with confidence. This time he uses his feet, dances down the track and plays it down the ground for another single. 135 with that score, with that single is the Australian score after 27.3 overs. Ashley Nurse giving away 6 runs from the 3 deliveries that he has bowled. Holder meanwhile has given away 28 from 7 overs and picked up 1 wicket. Steve Smith holds the key. That's something that we have been saying time and again. And if West Indies are to make a mockery of this Australian batting, they definitely need to dismiss Smith. Meanwhile, another full delivery outside off stump which has been driven, but good fielding there on that occasion. No runs for Steve Smith. When we talk about the timing and the batting prowess that Australia have and the superiority that they have in the game with 5 World Cups under their belt, do you think that this game today and the exhibition today would maybe give the management something to discuss or rethink about?
Well, Australia have started the World Cup pretty well, winning their first game against Afghanistan. This game won't decide their fate in this World Cup definitely, but this is a crucial game not only for Australia but for West Indies as well, because they'll be looking to keep the good momentum going. Meanwhile, Australia take a single to finish the over. 28 overs gone, 137 for 5.
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
Kepler Wessels played his first World Cup for Australia in 1983. Did you know that Wessels later went on to represent South Africa and was the Proteas captain in the 1992 World Cup?
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
137 for 5, some kind of stability provided. The last wicket that fell was at the score of 79, so they've put on decent runs, 58 to be precise. And from Australia's point of view, it's a slow partnership, 58 from 73, but there's still a lot of overs to be bowled, and they would want that these two should carry on for at least another 10-15 overs. If they are able to do so, then Australia would be targeting at least 250, 260, which would be a score that would be competitive enough given the fact that they have bowlers such as Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc, Nathan Coulter-Knight and Adam Zampa in their ranks. 22 overs left. How do you think that they should face their innings, or, these batsmen both playing on 39 should pace their innings going ahead?
Well, Australia won't mind about the run rate. Currently, they'll be looking to stay on the crease, take their time, because they've already lost 5 wickets, 28 overs gone, still another 22 overs remaining. After this, they've only got the bowling all-rounders to come. So, both Steve Smith and Alex Carey will be very crucial for Australia. They'll be just looking to take the scoreboard, take singles, twos on occasions, and if any sort of chances they get, they'll be looking to take on the bowlers for 4s and 6s, but they would not be taking too many unnecessary risks.
Well, yes, that's the call of the hour as they want to rebuild this partnership. This is the 10th game of the ICC World Cup. Both the teams have won their first game. Australia won against Afghanistan, while West Indies rattled the Pakistani team as they bundled them out for 105. After registering 2 points in their first game, they are in search of 2 more points from their second game. This delivery, a full-length delivery by Brathwaite, has been driven down the ground, but no run on that occasion. With that, the score still for Australia is 138 for 5 after 28.2 overs. Smith on 39 from 60 deliveries, while Alex Carey is on 40 from 49. We talk about the West Indies quicks, we talk about the West Indies pace attack. The first over of spin that was introduced was in the 27th over. So both the main bowlers as well as the part-timers for West Indies have been phenomenal with their line and lengths and the executions that has resulted in such a collapse for Australia.
Fast bowlers have been brilliant for West Indies, definitely. They have tried the bouncers which they did in the previous game against Pakistan as well. It was successful. They have taken the same approach against Australia today as well, and it has worked again for them. And there's another bouncer that we see from Carlos Braithwaite this time. So West Indies, they have gone with the same kind of approach and it has worked for them. They have managed to get the big breakthroughs for Australia, the likes of David Warner, who have been in good form coming into this World Cup. So West Indies, they have bowled pretty well up to this point and they have relied a lot on their fast bowlers and they have delivered yet again for them.
Well, certainly they have relied on their fast bowlers, as this one is another short delivery that has been uppercut by Alex Carey towards the third man region. Good fielding there by the fielder who was patrolling the boundary, but he won't be able to restrict Australia from getting another couple of runs. With that, Carey moves on to 42 and Australia are 141 for 5. Probably there will be a change in the bowling attack because Brathwaite is now on way to complete his 6th over. We might see Andre Russell, who is warming up in the next over from this end, while pretty certain that the spinner would be used because the spinner has just bowled 1 over. The last delivery to Carey is a short delivery yet again, which has been pulled towards the short fine leg, towards the fine leg region, and great fielding there again by the fielder who seems to have hurt himself in the process. Ashley Nurse it was, and with that he certainly saved a 4, but a couple of runs in Alex Carey's kitty. With that, 29 overs have been completed. Australia 143 for 5.
One station filled with full football fever.
Shot, go for it, and to the ice.
Just one click away.
Unstoppable.
Download Sports Flash.
This team, Steve Smith, meanwhile, looks comfortable at the crease as he's driven that one again towards the cover region for no run on that occasion. The second delivery is yet another dot. So Ashton, after conceding 8 runs from his first over, has bowled a couple of dots and added some sort of pressure on the Australian pair of Steve Smith and Alex Carey. 143 for 5 is Australia at the moment, as the third delivery is a short delivery which has been played towards the cover region for yet another run. We are talking about the West Indies bowlers and the Australian batting. They have some sort of stabilization going on at the moment. They have recovered in a way, because they were 79 for 5 and now they are 145 for 5, so 44 for 5. So probably earlier they were thinking of 200. Now the revised target for Australia would be 250, 260, because there are still 20 overs to be bowled after this one.
250, 260 definitely. They'll have to get minimum something around 250. West Indies with this batting lineup, they can chase any score, and we know in this ground, Trent Bridge, Nottingham, it's a very good batting track. Even 300, more than 300 is chaseable, but for now Australia, after having lost so many wickets early on, they'll be looking to get at least 250, 260, which will be a good total against this West Indies side. And with the bowling that Australia have, Pat Cummins, Nathan Coulter-Nile, Mitchell Starc, they'll be looking to stop the opposition. West Indies, meanwhile, are fielding very well, saving lots of runs, which might prove to be very crucial come the end of the innings. And a single to finish the over. 30 overs gone, Australia 146 for 5.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Andy Roberts of West Indies holds the record of being most economical bowler in the World Cup history. Did you know he played 16 World Cup matches from 1975 to 1983, in which he took 26 wickets with an economy of 3.24 runs per over. Chris Gayle and Marlon Samuels hold the record for amassing the most runs for a partnership for any wicket in a World Cup game. Did you know the Windies pair made a mammoth 372 runs against Zimbabwe in Canberra during the 2015 World Cup?
Building and reassessing. We are back with live action as Australia at the moment are rebuilding their innings and reassessing as to what would be a good score on this pitch that seems to be a batting paradise. Well, it was said in the pitch report as well that the pitch will favour the batsmen, but the early inroads from the West Indies bowlers, especially the way they use their bouncers, made us feel that 260, 270 would be a par score. But now, as the sun is out and the fast bowlers who have somewhat tired now, you can see that the pitch is more suited to the batsmen at the moment, while Australia are placed at 146 for 5 after 30 overs. 20 overs left. It's a saying in cricket, whatever score you get, that we were discussing earlier as well, that whatever score you get in the 30 overs, you would want to double it in the next 20. So if 146 we'll take, if they are at 150, they would still eye at least another 120, 130 runs, which would give them a good decent target of 270, 280.
Well, doubling up, but that won't be easy for Australia today, as they have already lost 5 wickets. So they'll be looking to get at least 260, 270 on the board. As for West Indies, they have bowled well, they have bowled to their strengths. They have used the similar kind of tactics that they did in their opening game. They did bowl well, but I must also say that Australia, on their part, the batsmen played some rash shots. They should have tried to hold the ground, tried to settle in and play well, but they got tempted by the West Indies bowlers and they just gave away the wickets.
Yes, they gave away the wickets, and it seems like they have taken drinks at the moment. So we'll also take a short break and we will be back with the live coverage.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
As much as Andy Roberts is known for his bowling, you can't discount him for his batting skills. Did you know he, along with Joel Garner, made 71 runs for the 10th wicket against India in their opening tie of the 1983 World Cup? The record still remains the highest for the last wicket. Gordon Greenidge, Clive Lloyd and Andy Roberts were one of the first to be inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame. Did you know the trio was instrumental in winning successive World Cups in 1975 and 1979?
One station filled with full football fever.
Thinks about the shot, will go for it, and will plant an absolute cracker into the corner to put the icing on what is a very sweet-tasting game for Manchester City.
And you are just one click away.
Sergio Aguero. Oh, that's vicious. Unstoppable.
Download www.sportsflashes.com. Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel. Sports Flashes.
30 overs have been completed, and as rightly predicted, we were anticipating a change in the bowling lineup and the bowling that was pursued by West Indies. Andre Russell has been introduced into the attack. He's just bowled 3 overs before this one, and it would be favorable for West Indies if he's able to break this partnership. He gave away 11 runs, picked up 1 wicket, and he will be bowling to Steve Smith as the first delivery is a dot. So a decent partnership as we've been referring time and again. 70 runs, almost 67 to be precise, they have put between the two of them, and if Australia were to score about 270, 280, one of these would have to score a century.
Well, the last 8 overs belong to Australia, certainly. 63 runs they have scored without losing a wicket. These two have been really good, trying to settle in, getting quick runs, singles, twos and occasional boundaries. West Indies have tired a bit, but Australians have kept their nerves, and they keep on going at the moment. 147 for 5. They're going at a run rate of below 5, but they won't mind that at the moment. They'll be just looking to stay on the crease and bat for as many overs as possible. That's the thing which Steve Smith and Alex Carey will be looking to do at the moment.
Yes, the plan is certainly laid out in clear terms that they have to stay on the crease as far as possible, as long as possible, and if they are able to stay. Meanwhile, we were talking about some stability, and Andre Russell has done what he's known for best, disrupt partnerships, as he has managed get the breakthrough for West Indies. He's dismissed Alex Carey. It was a short pitch delivery, a good length delivery rather, which Alex Carey tried to fend outside off stump, and what happened is that he nicked that one to the keeper, Shea Hope. A regulation catch for him and a big breakthrough there for West Indies. We were talking about Australia's stability, but Andre Russell, the man with the golden arm, has come and done his job. Australia have lost their 6th wicket as they are 147 at the moment.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
As much as Andy Roberts is known for his bowling, you can't discount him for his batting skills. Did you know he, along with Joel Garner, made 71 runs for the 10th wicket against India in their opening tie of the 1983 World Cup? Their record still remains the highest for the last wicket. Gordon Greenidge, Clive Lloyd and Andy Roberts were one of the first to be inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame. Did you know the trio was instrumental in winning successive World Cups in 1975 and 1979?
One station filled with full football fever.
Thinks about the shot, will go for it, and will plant an absolute cracker into the corner to put the icing on what is a very sweet tasting game for Manchester City.
And you are just one click away.
Sergio Aguero. Oh, that's vicious. Unstoppable.
Download Sports Flashes app or visit www.sportsflashes.com. Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel. Sports Flashes.
147 for 6 Australia, and out in the middle is Coulter Nile, and the first delivery that Coulter Nile faced just missed the stumps by a whisker. That could have been another dismissal for West Indies, but Coulter Nile survives. And how? Meanwhile, we were talking about stability, and we were saying that how Alex Carey and Steve Smith have somewhat given hope to the Australian team and would want to carry on the good form, the good work. But Andre Russell has managed to get a wicket. Another short delivery that's up in the air, and it falls short of the keeper. So Coulter Nile surviving somehow, as Australia are 148 for 6 after 31 overs.
This is Sports Flashes live.
The flying Finn from Helsinki is on his last lap, looking magnificently good for his 20th World Championship win.
Download Sports Flashes app or visit www.sportsflashes.com. Sports Flashes, world's biggest sports radio channel. Sports Flashes.
Nathan Coulter Nile has walked out in the middle, and both deliveries that he faced could have been walking back It was that close on both the occasions. The first delivery missing the stumps by a whisker, and the second delivery was a short delivery from Andre Russell that was miscued top edge, but it fell short of the keeper. Australia at the moment are 148 for 6 as the next over presumes, and we'll get back to you, Shibaji. We'll talk about how O'Shane Thomas has been introduced into the attack, but Steve Smith, the lone warrior as we have named him from the commentary box, he's the only one standing tall.
Yeah, he's the only one holding key to Australia now. He's on 43, having faced 68 balls. Alex Carey will be very, very disappointed with himself, having just got out for 45 or 55 deliveries. But it's really good bowling from West Indies. Another ball on the block hole on that occasion by O'Shane Thomas, and Nathan Coulter-Nile just surviving by the teeth of the skin at the moment. He's just opened his account, 1 run off 4 deliveries, but it's brilliant bowling from the West Indies bowlers.
Yes, it's a delight if you're a fast bowler, and even if you're not a fast bowler, if you're a batsman, it's a delight if you're a cricket fan to see how West Indies have executed their plans in this game. The bouncers, the yorkers, and the good length deliveries one after the other is something that is causing trouble to a team like Australia. Meanwhile, that's up in the air and it falls safe again. So 9 lives probably for Coulter-Nile. He's already used up 3. We'll have to see whether he makes most of the 6 that are left, it seems like at the moment, or whether West Indies will be able to break that jinx and get rid of Coulter-Nile, who is given 3 chances in the 4 deliveries that he's faced.
Well, Coulter-Nile has absolutely been left shell-shocked so far. He's not been able to do anything, struggling at the moment against this West Indies pace attack. And Russell first, and then O'Shane Thomas. Thomas teams in with another bouncer in the 4th ball of the over, and West Indies are certainly targeting Nathan Coulter-Nile now because they know that Steve Smith is settled, having made 43 of 68 balls, so they'll be looking to get Nathan Coulter-Nile out as soon as possible.
Well, absolutely. You know that Steve Smith might sustain the pace that the West Indies bowlers have been using, and he might be able to negotiate the bounce as well, whereas the tailender Nathan Coulter-Nile will be more susceptible, as this one is an in-swinging yorker, somehow surviving again. Coulter-Nile on 7 deliveries. We've spoken about him managing to save his wicket, and Steve Smith identifying the threat that looms around Nathan Coulter-Nile's bat, that he would probably rather be better off playing the fast bowler rather than leaving him exposed. He takes a quick single as Australia now move on to 149 at the loss of 6 wickets. Nathan Coulter-Nile, he has to survive somehow and has to give company to Steve Smith, because after this it's just Pat Cummins. Pat Cummins is no mug with the bat. Both Cummins as well as Mitchell Starc can pitch in with the runs, but the conditions and the line and length that the West Indies bowlers have been bowling at the moment is something that you just have to praise them. It's a short delivery to Steve Smith and it hits Steve Smith on the thumb, so even he's having a tested time where he's finding it difficult to find the middle of the bat. 32 overs have been bowled. Australia 149 for 6.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Pakistan needed 2 runs of the last ball in the 1987 World Cup group match at Lahore. Despite the non-striker backing up too much, Cote d'Ivoire, who was in charge of the last over, liberally refused to effect a run-out. Eventually, Abdul Qadir hit the winning runs and Pakistan won the match by 1 wicket. West Indies went into the 1983 World Cup with a 100% win record. Did you know their first loss came against India when they lost the opening game by 34 runs?
149 for 6 is Australia at the moment. Steve Smith playing on 43, and he's accompanied by Nathan Coulter-Nile, who's on 2 from 7 deliveries. A couple of chances have fallen in no man's land, and that one, the last delivery of O'Shane Thomas, was a nasty delivery, one would say, as it just sprung from nowhere and hit Steve Smith. He's looking at the pitch because there's extra bounce and assistance from the turf, but the line and length, it all comes back to the basics. The basics for the West Indies bowlers were the line and length, the short ball deliveries, the bouncers mixed with the yorkers, and they have executed all those special skills of theirs to perfection.
Cracking bowling by the West Indies bowlers. They have hit the deck hard and have tried to bowl short balls on almost every over, 1 or 2 occasions on every over, and good line and length from them as well. It has brought them success so far, and even Steve Smith, who has faced 69 balls so far, is struggling to face the likes of Ocean Thomas, who is still going at a pretty good rate. And now Andre Russell bowling from the other end. 4 overs he's bowled. He's already picked up 2 wickets in his 4 overs. Consider just 13 runs. So West Indies are bowling really well at the moment, and Australia is still struggling, and especially Nathan Coulter. I think he's faced 7 balls and he's already escaped 7 times. So let's see what happens now as the 5th over of Andre Russell is on the way.
Yes, Andre Russell is steaming in as Nathan Coulter plays that back foot punch towards the point area. No run on that occasion. He'll still have to face another couple of deliveries at least from Andre Russell, who is steaming in. He's picked up 2 wickets in his 4 overs, given which is 13 runs. Steve Smith is on the other end on 43 from 69 deliveries, while Coulter is on 2. He's played 8 deliveries, and as rightly pointed out, he has been surviving somehow. 149 for 6 is Australia at the moment, and this one is a full length delivery that's been driven towards the mid-off region, and it could have been a close call, but a single completed. So Coulter gets on the mark, and 150 up with that single for Australia at the loss of 6 wickets.
32.2 overs gone. Australia 150 for 6. Another quick single taken, but really good fielding by the West Indies keeper Jason Holt on that occasion. Managed to grab the ball, but no power on the throw. But West Indies, they won't mind. They will be looking to stop the 2s and the boundaries. They won't mind about the singles, but they'll obviously be looking to keep Nathan Coulter on strike for as long as possible, because he's the new one who has just come out to the centre, having faced 9 balls, managed 3 runs. And Steve Smith playing pretty well at the moment, though he's also struggling to face the likes of the West Indies fast bowlers who are just beaming in at the moment. Australia going on at a current run rate of 4.62, but if we talk about the last 5 overs, their net run rate is less than 3. It's 2.8, 4th ball of the over, and another bouncer from the West Indies bowler. Andre Russell, 32.4 overs now. Australia 150 for 6.
150 for 6 is Australia at the moment, and the approach is loud and clear from the West Indies bowling team, is that the bowling attack is that we are going to bounce you out, and it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of patience, perseverance as to how far and how long can you deny that. While Australia is struggling with a short delivery, another short delivery there. This time it didn't rise enough as expected by as anyone's expectation, because Steve Smith was also hoping that this is again going to hit him somewhere on the body. Somehow he manages to survive yet again. 32.5 overs have been bowled, just 1 round from this over so far. A single taken by Coulter. Smith is on 43. After this there are still 17 overs left, so there is more than 100 deliveries that need to be played. But when you talk about the batsmen, there is caliber, there is capabilities. It's just that who's going to stand up and who's going to get the runs. Meanwhile, a delivery outside off stump that has been played beautifully by Steve Smith towards the cover region will fetch him a couple of runs and conclude the over, as Australia after 33 are 153 for 6.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Chris Gayle holds the record for most number of 6s in an ODI series, but did you know he also holds the record for hitting maximum 6s in a World Cup edition? He hit 26 6s in the 2015 World Cup in just 6 innings. Defending champions West Indies were given a body blow in their opening game of the 1983 World Cup against India. Did you know West Indies only lost to India throughout the tournament? Once in the opener and then in the final.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Kepler Wessels played his first World Cup for Australia in 1983. Did you know that Wessels later went on to represent South Africa and was the Proteas captain in the 1992 World Cup?
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
33 overs gone. Australia 154 for 6, reeling at the moment. West Indies bowlers are bowling brilliantly. Steve Smith on 47 of 74, Nathan Coulter 3 of 9, and with me there's a change in the commentary box as we have all the way from United Arab Emirates, Wallace Siddiq joining us.
Well, I don't come all the way from there right now, but thank you for that, Shivaji. It's 2 runs taken. Will it be 4? In fact, it is a boundary. So Coulter finally something going in his favour, because he was struggling when he came out to bat, and finally he struck at a boundary, straight drive, and now as a result of that, The score moves on to 158 for 6 after 33.2 overs. One has to say that with the start that West Indies got, they got 4 early wickets for just 38. Australia have put in some sort of a resistance thanks to their former captain Stephen Smith, and who I don't think it would have been anyone else but Stephen Smith. And going back to that opportunity that Sheldon Cottrell got towards the final leg region, when Jason Holder bowled a short delivery, top edged, and it was going all the way for an easy catch, but right at the final moment he slipped, and as a result of that the ball went to the boundary line and Steve Smith survived. We were talking about not giving chances to such batsmen because they can punish you, and that is exactly proving to be the case for West Indies, because Smith is still batting solidly out there on 47. The score is 160 for 6 now after 33.3 overs. O'Shane Thomas has bowled 7.3 overs, given away 45 runs, and it has taken 1 wicket as well.
Steve Smith on 47 off 74, and Thomas on the rotation bowling a wide ball. Smith is playing well, having scored 47 crucial runs, but the thing which he needs is to have someone alongside him, and who will that be? Because Nathan Coulter-Nile is really struggling at the moment, as we can see.
Absolutely, he is struggling, but we saw that from Alex Carey also in the beginning, but he played a really good knock, a valuable knock for Australia, 45 runs, and that is exactly what they needed. Right now it's 161 for 6, and even if they go on to string 70 to 80 more runs from me, I think Australia would be the happier side, considering how it all started for them. So it's 161 for 6, and with the way that Stephen Smith is batting, it is very much possible. So for West Indies, it's important that they pick up the big wicket of Stephen Smith. It's 33.4 overs that have been bowled.
Australia, definitely they'll have to get something around 260, 270 mark, but the thing which is more important than that at the moment is they'll have to try and bat out all their remaining 50 overs. As we speak, Nathan Coulter-Nile has escaped yet again and is flicked it towards the leg side for a boundary as he moves to 13 off 13 bowls, and O'Shane Thomas is a little bit agitated, I think, with the fielding.
He is a little bit agitated with the fielding over there, because the plan was set. It was intended to bowl towards the leg side region. He did play selfishly, did Coulter-Nile, and just away from the fielder at the final moment, he wasn't able to fetch that. So boundaries, important boundaries there for Australia, and you can see O'Shane Thomas, the bowler, the fast bowler who was in there, did give it an attempt over there, and he has bowled quite well for West Indies this morning. It's a short delivery this time to Coulter-Nile, who pulls it away towards final leg as he takes a single. It's 166 for 6 now after 34 overs.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
The 2019 World Cup saw qualifiers being played even for test-playing nations. Did you know that hosts England and world's top 7 other cricketing teams automatically qualified for the World Cup? The rest of the teams had to go through qualifiers to get a place in the World Cup. 2-time champions West Indies was not in the top 7 and had to go through the qualifiers for the World Cup tournament.
So it's 166 for 6 now. Talking about the innings extras, 16 wides have been bowled by West Indies. Leg byes, 1 byes, 1 and 1 no ball. So 19 in totality, but 16 wides is something which has added to Australia's total. As this time it's a slow delivery by Andre Russell, hasn't been connected by Coulter-Nile. So dot delivery to start off with. After 34.1 overs, the score is 166. And the prediction is such that if they go at a similar rate, then Australia might go on to score 254, and like I said, they would be quite pleased with that. And West Indies on the other end, they might be a little bit disappointed, because if you get 4 wickets for just 38 runs, then your intention is to get the team bundled out before 150, but now that's well crossed now for the Australians. It's another dot delivery, another slower ball by Andre Russell, and 2 deliveries have gone by.
They'll be a little disappointed, definitely. Andre Russell bowling very well. 2 slower deliveries to start, though. He's bowling at a pace of 110, 115. 2 dot balls to start the over. 5.2 overs he's bowled. He's picked up 2 wickets and considered just 17 runs. Brilliant bowling from Andre Russell. He's going to bowl the 3rd ball of the over. Another short delivery. This has been pulled away for a boundary now. But Nathan Coulter-Nile has moved to 18 off 17.
So these are valuable runs for West Indies. It's 170 for 6 now. And now even Nathan Coulter-Nile getting into the act. Well, they bat deep, Australia, because they still have Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc also. Adam Zampa is one of those few, I think, who you might consider as a modern tail-ender. But apart from Adam Zampa, the Australian batsmen do bat deep. So West Indies, they need to get some quick wickets over here because it's looking quite deadly at the moment, because it is turning out to be a good partnership once again. It's a bouncer by Andre Russell, and it's been given as a wide, so he will have to re-bowl that ball at a pace of 132 kilometers per hour. And talking about Russell, he's bowled quite well as well. 5.3 overs, 22 runs given, and 2 wickets also taken in the process.
He's bowled pretty well today, definitely. Just 22 runs conceded. He's into his 6th over, 2 wickets he's picked up. But they will be looking to get this Australian pair out, because they are starting to look dangerous now, trying to build a sort of a partnership which might prove to be very important, as Russell bowls another short ball and another wide given. So this is not good bowling from the West Indies.
Yes, and that is another extra. So 21 extras have been bowled by West Indies as a result of that wide. And it's Nathan Coulter-Nile who quite cleverly just ducks underneath the ball, and Jason Holder having a word with Andre Russell. On the other end, it's 6 runs coming off this over so far. Andre Russell will be delivering his 4th delivery. It's been tonked by Nathan Coulter-Nile. Will it be taken? In fact, it's safe. No man's land, and 2 runs taken over there. So it's 174 for 6. 174 for 6 as a result of that double. After 34.4 overs, Steven Smith has used up 74 deliveries, but he's played a fantastic knock of 47. And it's Coulter-Nile who is playing quite well. He's faced an 18 ball. He's scored an 18 ball 20.
Well, I don't know whether he's playing quite well or not, because he's already escaped almost 10 times.
He's doing his job well, at least.
Almost 10 times he's escaped. But the Australian batsmen, they'll have to play more sensibly, I guess. Steve Smith is certainly doing that. He's on 47 of 74. Nathan Coulter-Nile, he's managed a couple of boundaries, but he's on 20 of 18. Russell has conceded 8 runs in this over, including 2 wides, and that's a brilliant ball to finish the over. 35 overs gone.
It was the second last delivery, so 1 ball still remains. And that was a brilliant Yorker by Andre Russell, but dug out at the final moment by Coulter-Nile, and well defended. So you can see there is a little bit of a talent when it comes to the bat for Nathan Coulter-Nile. He will have to do something with the ball as well, because let's be honest, irrespective of how it looks right now, the partnership that Australia might have got laid down the order, I think it will be an underpass score considering how the game has evolved. So the bowlers will have a big task to do for Australia. After 35 overs, the score is now 175 for 6.
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
In 1983, Australian bowler Ken McLeay took 6 wickets for 39 runs against India to guide his side to a 162-run win. Did you know that McLeay was actually born in England and later migrated and played for Australia?
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia. World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
Andres Zezes played 2 matches for Australia in the 1987 World Cup. Did you know that Zezes never played any other one-day international matches again? He retired at the age of 23 due to injury.
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
And it's 176 for 6. Coulter-Nile takes a single on the first delivery of Sheldon Cottrell, who's given away 29 runs and taken 2 wickets in the process of 6 overs. And the current run rate is of 5 per over right now. And this is Wali Siddiqui now joined in with Paritosh Joshi, who's here with us in the comm box. And well, Australia, they are doing a really good job at the moment, because they were 38 for 4, but all of a sudden they now find them in a good position, you'll have to say?
Decent position, not a good position at the moment. They are at 176 for 6, only 4 wickets more, and this time a chance here to remove Steven Smith. Another short delivery, edged by Steven Smith, but falls short of a Shy Hope. So he escapes yet again. Steven Smith now is batting at 47, and another close ball. That was from the gloves of Steven Smith rather. And Shy Hope, well, unfortunately for him, that falls short of his mark. So Steven Smith still at the centre.
Well, it was a slower delivery, so the ball was enticed. The ball was going to bounce in front of the keeper, but it's been followed up with another good delivery outside the off stump, and Smith tried to drive that, but he wasn't able to get a proper connection. And the thing with Steven Smith is that he is a really good batsman, but the problem is that he takes a lot of time, and sometimes that can get on the nerves of the other batsmen. So that is the only thing which I find different from him and Virat Kohli. The consistency is almost the same, but in terms of attacking cricket, I think Virat Kohli is the more attacking one out of the two.
Well, certainly he is, and Steven Smith, because he also knows the roles and responsibilities at the moment, and this time he has cut it on the offside, and that will result another for Australia, and Steven Smith with that will complete his half century, 51 and 77 deliveries, a remarkable innings from the former Australian captain, and Steven Smith, a crucial innings at that for Australia. He is now batting against Cottrell, who has also performed beautifully with the ball. Steven Smith, 4 boundaries in this innings, and although he has survived on multiple occasions, he's still at the helm of things for Australia.
Absolutely, and the entire world is watching him right now, and it wasn't long ago when the entire world did catch him in the act, and loads and loads of people were targeting him for that sandpaper gate, along with David Warner and Cameron Bancroft. And you can see, but now that David Warner and Steven Smith are back, they are proving a point in front of the entire nation, and that is what champion players are made of. A beautiful 50, a much needed 50, a valuable one. Just when his team required it, he just gets in there and scores some runs. 180 for 6, quick single taken, good running between the wickets. The fielder does hit the stump, but it's of no use. 181 for 6 now the score after 36 overs.
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
In 1983, Australian bowler Ken Mickley took 6 wickets for 39 runs against India to guide his side to a 162-run win. Did you know that Mickley was actually born in England and later migrated and played for Australia?
World Cup 2019. Cricket Trivia.
With that, the 37th over is now underway. Australia batting at 181 for 6. Steven Smith completing his half century on that occasion. He is now batting at 52 off of 79. Nathan Coulter complimenting him very well at the moment. He's batting at 22 off of 21. So with that, Andre Russell speeds in for the first delivery. This time defended well by Steven Smith, and that will be a dot to start off things with for Russell.
So it's 181 for 6 after 36.1 over, and it's Steven Smith, the man on strike, who is on 52 of 80 deliveries. Coulter on the other end is on 22 of 21. Andre Russell is bowling his 7th over. He's given away 26 runs in 6.1 over, and it's a single taken by Steven Smith on the second delivery. Good running between the wickets between the two, and Nathan Coulter is providing adequate support, and this partnership is now already worth 34 of 33, so it's hurting the West Indies at the moment, and still 14 overs to go. So if this continues to happen, then the final few batsmen could also have a go, and this could go beyond par score.
Well, this could go beyond 250 at the moment if these two bat on for at least 5 to 6 overs. They still have overs remaining, 13.4 overs still to go for Australia, and they have come a long way from one position where they have lost, where they had lost 4 wickets in under 40 runs. So positive from Steven Smith and Coulter on that occasion, and Coulter this one is been appealed by Russell, and that hit Coulter on the pad, but moving away I think from the off stump on that occasion. No wickets for Russell from that delivery. Another close call.
It did hit the back pad, and it was Nathan Coulter, the batsman. But the West Indies batsmen have lost their review as a result of that. They didn't have any other option. It's been pulled away this time by Coulter, and another good shot. and it's gone to the gap, so he's batting quite well, inflicting some damage on West Indies. Score moves on to 186 for 6. The low middle order of Australia doing a remarkable job at the moment.
Fantastic from Nathan Coulter. He is batting very well at the moment. Pulled that one hard on Russell and gets a boundary. With that, the score of 186 is up for Australia, and that decision, yes, it was beyond the leg stump and missing the wickets. So good decision from the umpire on that occasion. Nathan Coulter is at 26 of 23, slams that one hard, this time also on the mid-wicket region, but the fielder collects and throws it back for a double. So Nathan Coulter, he's batting very well at the moment, above a strike rate of 100, and he's on 28 with that.
Yes, he's batting quite well. It's 188 for 6 right now, the score is, and 36.5 overs have been bowled. And if we talk about this over, then 7 runs have come off from the bat, and we saw the same partnership coming from the lower order of South Africa last evening against India. And Rabada and Chris Morris did have a say in the game. It wasn't enough to save the debut. They almost put India in a lot of pressure. So this is also turning out to be that sort of a partnership for Australia.
Well, at the moment, these two are batting and a single on the final delivery. And with that, 189 for 6 up as 37th over concludes.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Andy Roberts of West Indies holds the record of being most economical bowler in the World Cup history. Did you know he played 16 World Cup matches from 1975 to 1983, in which he took 26 wickets with an economy of 3.24 runs per over. Chris Gayle and Marlon Samuels hold the record for amassing the most runs for a partnership for any wicket in a World Cup game. Did you know the Windies pair made a mammoth 372 runs against Zimbabwe in Canberra during the 2015 World Cup?
And now Australia are batting at 189 for 6 as Cottrell is now given the responsibility by the captain. He's already bowled 7 overs, 2 wickets for him, only conceding 34 runs in the process. He's a fantastic bowler for West Indies in the 2 games that they have played so far. The second game ongoing, and it's Nathan Coulter who again tries to go for the big hoik inside edge, but travels safely towards the leg region, and that will be a single on the first delivery. So 190 up for Australia now as Nathan Coulter and Stephen Smith bat on.
190 for 6 now after 37.1 overs. Steve Smith on 53 of 81, but Coulter is in a hurry. He's on 30 of just 26 deliveries, and if we talk about Stephen Smith, he's consumed more than double of the deliveries than Coulter, and he's on 53. Meanwhile, Coulter is just 20 runs away from his 50, so he's batting quite well. Is the fast bowler for Australia?
Well, he's batting quite well and batting at a different rate, because Stephen Smith right now is playing quite slow, but Coulter providing with the role of an aggressor here for Australia. 190 already up for them, and it's Stephen Smith who is facing Cottrell on that occasion. This time towards the leg side, completely missed by Stephen Smith. So that will be another dot on that occasion. Cottrell, a fine over from him to start off with in this particular over, as a single has been taken on the first delivery, and then he has bowled 2 dots. So fine bowling from Cottrell continues.
Good bowling by Sheldon Cottrell. 2 wickets taken, 35 runs also given. It's 190 for 6 right now. The score after 37.3 overs. Smith is the man on strike. He punches it towards the cover region and takes a single. Will they go for 2? And they do go for 2. So good running between the wickets between the 2 Australian batsmen. They are batting quite aggressively. If they're not getting the boundary, they're making sure that they run quite aggressively. And that is exactly why they are one of the teams, one of the fittest teams in modern day cricket. 192 for 6 now after 37.4 overs, and Evan Lewis will have a big part to play, because he will be playing his first World Cup game today.
Well, certainly he'll have to play a big part here for West Indies, because they still have almost 12 overs left, and with Stephen Smith at the centre, I think 300 is also a certainty at this point.
Well, you never know. Like I said, it's 193 for 6, and like I said, they also have Pat Cummins.
Also, it should be noted that I'm not saying that they'll reach it. It's a certainty.
It is a possibility, and they also have Pat Cummins and Mitchell Stark, and we all know
can hoik the ball.
They can hoik the ball as well. So you can't just rule Australia out. So the lower middle order also needs to contribute in this World Cup if there are any chances of winning, because South Africa nearly won that game if they had 260 on the board and had their batsmen given them a support. So I think in order to win the World Cup, your lower middle order as well as the middle order also has to contribute equally. It's a wide delivery, so 194 for 6 now. The score is after 37.5 overs. And talking about the lower middle order, I feel that is the reason why Team India go with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, because not only does he ensure solidarity with the ball, but he also bats quite well while coming at number 8.
Well, he certainly does, and that is interesting from Australia, as they also bat quite deep, as well as England, who both have quite a deep batting lineup. With that, it's 38 overs gone. Australia are now at 195 for 6.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Australia beat India by 1 run in their group encounter in the 1992 World Cup. Did you know that Australia's opener David Boon was the host wicketkeeper in that match, as regular wicketkeeper Ian Healy was out due to injury?
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
It's 195 for 6 after 38 overs. Right now the scorer, Andre Russell, is now the bowler, and this time it's been tapped away to point. A little bit of a hesitation, but he says no towards the end. So it's 195 for 6. A few predictions coming in the box that this might lead to a wicket this over, but we'll just have to wait and watch. I think the calm presence of Steven Stirr does...
Well, Sahil was also predicting Pakistani loss against England, so you can never say that not very good with predictions we are. We are always in the middle of things. And it's Nathan Coulter-Nile who is batting against Andre Russell at the moment. Russell started off with a dot and carried out with another one, as Nathan Coulter-Nile this time pushes it towards the leg side. And with that, Australia are at 195 for 6 after 38.2 overs.
195 for 6 now after 38.2 overs. I just don't like that number anymore, 6. You know the reason why I say that. And I'm a big Manchester United fan, and Liverpool won their 6th Champions League title, so I don't like that number anymore. But I hope they take the 7th wicket over West Indies. It's another good bouncer this time by Andre Russell. It was being attempted by Coulter-Nile to pull the ball, but he wasn't able to pull it, and as a result of that, it's a one bouncer. So 195 for 6, the score remains at.
Nathan Coulter-Nile, he's having some troubles against Andre Russell as of now. Andre Russell bowling very well in this over. 3 deliveries, 3 dots for him, as Nathan Coulter-Nile is struggling at the moment. This time he picks it, banged in on the block hole, but flicked away for a maximum this time on the square leg boundary. Nathan Coulter-Nile doing the maximum effort and doing the minimum effort and getting the maximum result out of that one. 200 up for Australia now with that. 201 for 6. What a shot by Nathan Coulter-Nile.
Who would have thought with the score on 38 for 4 with the top 4 batsmen going back to the hut that Australia would be on 201 for 6. So quite outstanding batting by Steven Smith, Alex Carey, and now Nathan Coulter-Nile, who's batting on 37 or 31. Andre Russell also struggling a little bit now. And you could say that they have weared off for the West Indies, because the short deliveries require a lot of effort. And if those effort deliveries keep on coming from the West Indies, eventually they are tended to get quite tired. It's 201 for 6 after 38.5 overs.
Well, that is the case. And at one point they were reeling. 38 for 4 they were, when it was Glenn Maxwell who was removed on that. And that Coulter-Nile shot completely not seen by a fan who spilled his drinks. And that's a part of the game, as Nathan Coulter-Nile is currently picking on Andre Russell. And the next delivery, he also tried to flick that one on the next delivery, but no runs, as that is also a dot delivery. Andre Russell now, he's taking his time for the final delivery, and I think there's some concern for West Indies, as well as he's stretching on that occasion, limping a little bit. That's not positive news for West Indies, because Andre Russell, he's always had some niggles and injury issues.
that has been the case with Andre Russell. It's been more than a year now, and there has been problems with his knee, his shin, his shoulder, his back, and I think it's once again his knee that is causing him to be a little bit tired at the moment as well, and also wearing down. So it's his right knee where he's indicating. He's still going to bowl his final delivery. I think this is going to be his final delivery. After this delivery, he's going to go off the field. So Russell to bowl his final delivery of the 8th over. It's a good bounce, but just short of the fielder at the square leg, and it's 202 for 6 now after 39 overs.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Australian opener Mark Waugh scored 126 against India in the 1996 World Cup. Did you know that it was Mark Waugh who dismissed Sachin Tendulkar when the Indian batting maestro was batting on 90 runs? Mark Waugh's effort gave Australia a 16-run win over India in Mumbai.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
It's 201 for 6 right now, the score after 39 overs. So still quite a few overs remaining for Australia to add some serious runs on the board. 202 for 6 in fact after 39 overs. Steven Smith batting quite well on 56 of 85 deliveries, 5 boundaries to his name, while it's Nathan Coulter-Nile who's inflicting some serious damage on West Indies. He's on 38 of just 33 balls, and you can see, as I was saying, Andre Russell has limped off the field, so the physios will definitely give him a look, but it's been a good performance by him. 2 wickets for 40 runs.
2 wickets for 40 runs. It's Nathan Coulter-Nile, the man who hit the only 6 of this innings in the previous over of Russell, and it's now Ashley Nurse who's been brought in. He's bowled 2 overs so far, conceding 11 runs. So now they're looking towards their spinning options in order to get some wickets, but I think it's a little too late for spinners as well, as both the batsmen now set will look for the boundaries.
Well, the thing with West Indies is that we might call them as the dark horses of the tournament. They might have a really good batting lineup, a good pace battery, but the thing where they lack is their spin department. They do not have suitable spinners, because Ashley Nurse hasn't done anything quite special for West Indies. Fabian Allen is a left arm option, but he hasn't done anything significant either. Chris Gayle rarely bowls nowadays. So, for example, if we talk about Team India, they have good pieces in the likes of Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Shami, Hardik Pandya, etc. But to give them a break, they are complemented by quality spinners as well. They have Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal, as well as their part-time bowler, Kedar Jadhav. So I think this is the only area where they lack. They do not have quality spinners at the moment.
Well, that certainly is the case, but for West Indies, the good thing is that their pacers have come very good for them in this World Cup, as now they require their spinners to get them some wickets right when they required, and with that, it's another crucial over which is ongoing for Australia at the moment. The 40th over now concludes. Australia with that are at 206 for 6.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
In 1996, Australia's Mark Waugh scored a century against Kenya and then followed it up with 126 against India in Mumbai. Did you know that this was the first instance when a batsman scored 2 consecutive centuries in the World Cup? In fact, in all, Mark Waugh scored 3 centuries in that edition of the tournament.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
It's 206 for 6 now after 40 overs, and it's power play 3. The batting power play now. Final 9 overs to be bowled, and these are big 9 overs, because in fact final 10 overs to be bowled. These are big 10 overs, because Australia can get the maximum of that, and West Indies need to get the rest of the 4 wickets, because this partnership is looking quite dangerous at the moment. Single taken by the first delivery by Steven Smith. He moves on to 40, 59, 207 for 6s, and Coulter-Nile, he just rushed away to 40 within no time. It feels like it was 5 minutes ago he came on to bat.
Well, certainly Nathan Coulter-Nile is batting at a different green at the moment, and Steven Smith, he is batting quite sensibly at the moment. He's not trying to take too many hits, although there have been edges and he has survived a lot, but that is positive news for this Australian side. At this time, it's Coulter Nile who pulled one hard on the full tosser from Brathwaite, and that will be a boundary for Nathan Coulter Nile. He now moves on to 44 and very quickly at that. And Nathan Coulter Nile, he's doing the maximum damage at the moment. Australia moving at a frenetic rate now.
I think more than Steven Smith, it's Nathan Coulter Nile who is putting in a match-winning performance at the moment, because this is going to be the deciding factor, I feel. It's 211 right now the score, and still 10 overs remain, and if he continues to bat this way, then like you said, Paritosh, 300 might be a possibility.
Well, at this rate, that could be a possibility. Sahil was mugging me away at one point when I said about 300 mark. But as of now, it's Australia who are running away with the runs here. This time it's cut on the offside, but that will be only a single, as now Steven Smith takes the strike.
And the West Indians did bowl quite well in the beginning, but they've just faltered away in the final few overs. And it's 200 right now, the score, 212 the score. It's Steven Smith who's batting quite well along with Nathan Coulter Nile. And what batting by Coulter Nile. They did try to pepper him with the short deliveries, but he pulled it with perfection and got a few fours. But Brathwaite has been stopped at the final moment, and there's something in the field. I think it's a trash bag, and yes, it is a trash bag. So waiting for that to move away from the side screen. And Jason Holt, the skipper, is the one who just drags it out of the field. So the score predictor does say that it might be something above 270 with the way that the Australians are batting. West Indies, in the meantime, need a wicket, and they need it quick, because these two are inflicting some serious damage at the moment, and it might affect their run chase in the latter stage. It's 212 for 6. That's the next delivery has been bowled and has been defended by Smith towards the point region. 91 deliveries he's faced to score 59, but those 59 runs have been highly valuable for the Kangaroos, while Nathan Coulter Nile, he's on 45 of 37 deliveries of this over so far. Three more deliveries, two more deliveries remain to be bowled, and it's once again defended, this time towards the third man region. So quick single taken by Smith as he puts Coulter Nile on strike, who's just 5 runs away from his 50.
Very close to his 50 is Nathan Coulter Nile, and he took no time to reach there after Alex Carey was dismissed on 44 of 39 deliveries. It's Nathan Coulter Nile who is scoring in the bulk here for Australia. He's batting on 45 now as he faces the final delivery of the over from Brathwaite. This time he just nudges it towards the leg region for a single. So that will conclude the over for Australia. Australia now are at 214 for 6 after 41 overs.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Keith Atherton of West Indies had a dubious record of having second highest ducks to his name in the World Cups. Did you know, in the 14 World Cup matches he played, he got out on a duck on 4 occasions. He's only behind Nathan Aston and Ijaz Ahmed, who have 5 ducks each to their name. Andre Russell of West Indies has the second highest strike rate in a World Cup game. Did you know, he scored 42 not out from 13 balls with a strike rate of 323.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Andy Roberts of West Indies holds the record of being most economical bowler in the World Cup history. Did you know he played 16 World Cup matches from 1975 to 1983, in which he took 26 wickets with an economy of 3.24 runs per over. Chris Gayle and Marlon Samuels hold the record for amassing the most runs for a partnership for any wicket in a World Cup game. Did you know the Windies pair made a mammoth 372 runs against Zimbabwe in Canberra during the 2015 World Cup?
With that, Ashley Nurse is now continuing with the spell as he is pitted against Steven Smith, who's batting at 60. And the first 2 deliveries, he was batting against Coulter Nile, and Coulter Nile just pushed it for a single, as Steven Smith was the one who took a single on the second delivery. This time there's a scamper, and that could be a wicket. Close call, but they are surely safe. Steven Smith and Coulter Nile, 3 singles in the first 3 deliveries. There's a change in the com box as well as Wally takes a break, and it's Sahil Maggu joining me. Sahil, Steven Smith 61, Coulter Nile 48, 300 still up for Australia.
Good afternoon to you, Paritosh. I knew as soon as I came back you would point this out, that 300 is very much on the cards, and the way Australia have played their game in the last 10 to 15 overs, yes, definitely it's on the cards. Steve Smith is the key. We have been mentioning this since times immemorial, and he has proved his worth yet again as the surprise factor would definitely be Coulter Nile, who was dropped, who survived few close calls in the initial part of his batting, but now in the 40 deliveries that he has faced, he has scored 48 runs. So Coulter Nile has redeemed himself, as so have Australia, because the platform for them is set, and they are now making their way to at least 260, 270, if not 300, because what will happen after that, it will be competitive enough for their bowlers. They'll have some kind of a total on the board. Both Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc with the new ball would be effective. There you have Coulter Nile as well. So
with the pace at which Mitchell Starc bowls, even if they get 270, 280, I guess Australia would very well back themselves for the win.
Exactly, and we'll get back to that as 42 overs have completed. Australia are 218 for 6. New bowler in the attack is Carlos Brathwaite. So now it will be a tough call for Jason Holder in the first half of the game. All the changes, all the moves that they used, all the field positions as well as the plans had fallen in place, but it seems like their plan A has now faltered in the second half. They have to resort to their plan B. So what should be their plan B, and what do you think would be the approach from the West Indies bowlers going ahead in the remainder of 8 overs?
Well, certainly they require wickets, but they don't have their strike bowlers for them to strike now as a partnership, a huge partnership between Steven Smith and Coulter Nile is on looking here. This time Smith edges it on the offside, and that'll race towards the boundary beyond third man. So another 4 runs coming in for Australia, as a wide was bowled by Brathwaite on the previous delivery. Stanley for Brathwaite. This time a heavy edge of Steven Smith just carries that one towards the boundary. So another boundary for Australia, and sadly for West Indies, another 4 runs are conceded. Australia with that shot are now at 223 for 6, as Smith just pushes it on the leg side for a single on the next delivery. So it's Nathan Coulter Nile who will now face the next. He's batting at 48 of 40 deliveries. Frantic rate he has scored at over 120 the strike rate, and this is the biggest partnership for Australia now.
Yes, the partnership of 77 from 76 deliveries. The fact that this is the biggest partnership for the 8th wicket between these two highlights how important Nathan Coulter Nile has been. Meanwhile, a short delivery there has been pulled in the air. False shot yet again of Jason Holder. That would not restrict from a couple, as Nathan Coulter Nile has scored a 50. So 50 from 41 deliveries for Coulter Nile, and his aggressive gameplay, his shot selection and his boundaries, the rate at which he scored his boundaries has certainly brought back Australia into the game, as they are 226 for 6 in 42.4 overs.
Fantastic from Nathan Coulter Nile. 4 boundaries in that innings, a 6. The single 6 of this innings scored by Nathan Coulter Nile. This time he hoiks it over the mid-wicket region, and that'll be a maximum. He tried going for the maximum in the previous delivery, but this time he gets it clean. So that'll be 56 on board for Coulter Nile. Australia move on to 232 off of 6. After a fall of 6 wickets, and it's Nathan Coulter Nile who is just taking on the bowlers at the moment. 84 meters on that. Fantastic from Nathan Coulter Nile.
With every run that Nathan Coulter Nile is scoring, every shot that reaches the boundary, I can see a very big smile on Panito's face, because he was the one who predicted that 300 is a possibility when it seemed like it is too big a task. Well, we'll get back to that and the possibilities that have opened up suddenly for Australia, as 43 overs have been completed. Australia are 233 for 6.
World Cup
deliveries. Nathan Coulter Nile, a quick fire, 57 off of 43. He's batting at a strike rate of over 132, and at this rate, 300, you never say never for Australia. Ashton Nurse is now continuing with the spell. This time he tries to paddle it, but miscues that one, but still that travels to the boundary, as Shai Hope also missed that one. and a welcome boundary. Nathan Coulter-Nile welcomes him, and he's moving closer to the score of Stephen Smith at the moment. He's now on 61.
Yes, he's on 61 and Smith is on 67. He tried to play the lap shot. It came off of the bat, so it was difficult for Shai Hope to stop the deflection. But what has happened is that another 4 runs have been registered for Australia, as well as Nathan Coulter-Nile, who will now definitely want to target Ashley Nurse spin bowling. And the next one is again bowled on the leg side, and this time it will be given as a wide. So runs coming in plenty. 238 for 6 Australia. 6 overs left after this one. Even if you go at a rate of 10, 10 is too much, but even if you go at a rate,
if they go at a rate of 10, they'll cross the 300 mark.
That's the margin that you set for them, because you were thinking that. Meanwhile, this is up in the air, short delivery that's been pulled and it's dropped. Hetmeyer placed there for that catch and he drops. So another lifeline for Coulter-Nile. We were talking that he has at least 9 lives in this game. I don't know how many he's made use of, but at another chance goes a begging for the West Indies, as a catch has been spilled in the boundary by Shimron Hetmeyer. He takes a single, rotates the strike, and Smith gives the strike back to him, because he's the aggressor out of the two, scoring 62 from 45, while Smith is on 68 from 100. So we were talking that if they go at a rate of 10 in the next 6 overs, they will get 300, while this one's yet again in the air and again falls in no man's land as they complete a couple of runs. So whatever's coming off for Australia at the moment is from Coulter-Nile's bat, and it seems to be good luck, good fortune favouring the brave.
Well, fortune certainly favouring Coulter-Nile. I don't know about the brave at the moment, but Coulter-Nile, he's batting at 64 of 46 deliveries. Quick fire runs from Coulter-Nile. This time it has been punched on the offside for single. And with that, Ashley Nurse has conceded over 9 runs in this game, in this over particularly, and 29 runs in total in the 5 overs that he's bowled. As of now, another wide delivery, another extra for Australia, as this is towards the leg stump of Smith. Leaves that one, and that will be extra runs for Australia. 244 up for them. He bowls in the final delivery of the over. Smith just pushes it on the offside after coming forward for a single. With that, 44th over is concluded. Australia 5 for 6.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
West Indies won the Cricket World Cup in 1975 and 1979. Did you know that West Indies is also the first team to appear in the final of the World Cup thrice in succession? West Indies also played the final in 1983 but lost to India. West Indies' Clive Lloyd and Australia's Ricky Ponting are the only 2 captains to have won the World Cup twice. Lloyd in 1975 and 1979 and Ponting in 2003 and 2007.
The Australian team have certainly redeemed themselves from a situation as to what they were and what they are at the moment. They were struggling at 38 for 4, and now, thanks to Steve Smith, Alex Carey, and a brilliant cameo from Coulter-Nile, they are 245 for 6 in 44 overs, as O'Shane Thomas has been introduced back into the attack. A full-length delivery and has been played up in the air for another boundary by Steve Smith. So Steve Smith now putting on the pedal, and 249 is the score. We are saying, you mentioned 300. I was referring that if they go at a rate of 10 runs, they will certainly achieve 300. And by the looks of it, the way Steve Smith and Coulter-Nile are attacking the West Indies bowlers, it certainly seems they will go beyond 300. So cricket is a game of uncertainties. You cannot count out the facts that we were trying to predict at the moment. This one's certainly coming in your favor, Paritosh. Meanwhile, this one's another delivery, and what a catch! What a catch there! I will just tell you who the fielder was. Steve Smith moved across, played a flick shot, and it was certainly going for a 6, but a one-handed catch at the boundary ropes then was thrown back in the field and again collected. They're checking whether
it's Cottrell who has taken the catch off of a delivery of O'Shane Thomas, who was bowling his 9th over, but a fantastic innings from Stephen Smith comes to an end. 73 off of 103. That was certainly a 6, but not Cottrell had other ideas, and a wicket for O'Shane Thomas. A fantastic catch by Cottrell. They're checking in for the no ball as of now, but it's safe and sound for West Indies. A wicket falls and how they missed easy chances, but Cottrell on that occasion running hard on his left, taking a one-handed catch, and he was still running towards the boundary, throwing it inside, running at least 10 yards and gathering it again to collect and complete the catch. Fantastic from Cottrell. Another wicket falls and it's Stephen Smith, the former captain of the Australian side, who departs. With that, it's 249 for 7 after 44.2 overs.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
In the 2003 World Cup, Adam Gilchrist was given not out by the umpire to an appeal by Sri Lankan team of the bowling of Arvind De Silva. Did you know that Gilchrist decided to walk despite being given not out by the umpire?
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
We are back with live action. Australia are 249 for 6 after 7 now. After 44.2 overs, what a catch there by Sheldon Cottrell. We were talking about the fielding. We were talking about exemplary performances in the field. Ben Stokes with his one-handed catch, and now Sheldon Cottrell will certainly be in that list.
Well, this would certainly be a contender for the catch of the tournament, along with Ben Stokes' effort. And this time, O'Shane Thomas tried to go wider of the off stump, but too wide, as this has been signaled for a wide delivery. So extra runs still coming in, but you have to commend the ability of Cottrell on that occasion. He ran hard to cover ground on that one and still was looking like he'll travel across the boundary, threw it inside, traveled across and then came back, then collected the catch and completed it all on himself. That wicket, more than for O'Shane Thomas, should be counted for Cottrell.
Definitely, that should be going in the books as a catch, not just a catch, but a wicket for Sheldon Cottrell, because the awareness, the mind games that he was playing there with himself, because he was running and it was a one-handed difficult stretch, and after that his left hand was stretched out. After that he realized that he is near the fence, so he had to throw the ball back up in the air and then get back into the field and complete a regulation catch which he already tossed up. So it's game-changing moments like these. We were talking about Coulter Nile's innings. This will obviously help the West Indies to restrict the team, lessen at least 10 to 15 runs, because Steve Smith playing the entire innings, staying till the 50th over, would mean that he can contribute 20 plus runs easily from what the total would be.
Well, certainly, and this could prove to be very critical as the game proceeds, because he has at least shot at 20 runs from the Australian total, I think, because Stephen Smith was changing gears now. He was looking like he'll take on the bowlers, and he would also feel that that was a certain 6, if not for Cottrell. Cottrell completely out of nowhere catching that one, as O'Shane Thomas registered the second wicket of the game for himself. He's in his 9th over now. Three legal deliveries, a 4 on the first one, a brilliant catch from Cottrell providing a wicket on the second one, then 2 wide deliveries for extra runs that we were talking about throughout the game, and a single on the next one, as the 4th delivery now is a dot finally for Thomas, as it is West Indies now who will like to restrict around 280 mark, the Australian side around 280 mark at the moment.
Well, absolutely, they would want to restrict the Australian side to as low a total as possible, as this one is played and a miss by Pat Cummins and the keeper collects. We were talking about Coulter Nile and his innings. His highest score before this game was 34. He averages 12.83. So you can see this is his first 50, and what a time for the Australians for this 50 to come. 60 plus runs he has scored. Is 66, hardly 4-5 runs behind Steve Smith, and he will become the highest scorer. When was it that Nathan Coulter Nile was the highest scorer for an Australian team? So you can imagine what a role his innings, his knock of 66 would do.
He was critical in a game against India in India.
Yes, but that was his highest score of 34. This time around, he scored his first ODI 50, and what a time for that to come. And has gone past to 66. We'll get back to that as 45 overs have been completed. Australia 252 for 7.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
West Indies are one of the 7 teams to have appeared at all the World Cup tournaments. In the 1975 World Cup final, West Indies opener Roy Fredericks lost balance and kicked the leg stump with his left leg after hooking a Dennis Lilly bouncer. Agonizingly, the ball went for a 6 over long leg, but Fredericks became the first player to be given out hit wicket in ODI history.
The 46th over now up as Australia are batting at 252 for 7. Nathan Coulter-Nile and Pat Cummins now at the centre for Australia. Pat Cummins is still to open his account. He is batting on nil after 3 deliveries. And Nathan Coulter-Nile, what an innings is he playing at the moment? 66 in 48 deliveries with the help of 6 boundaries and 2 massive sixes. At the moment, it's Cottrell, the one who took the catch of Steens within the previous over, who's bowling in towards Coulter-Nile. Coulter-Nile just edging it and nudging it towards the leg region, but Chris Gayle collected that comfortably and celebrating at the collection of the ball, even in a weird fashion. Only Chris Gayle can do that.
Well, it's hard for Chris Gayle with that body, with that build, to get down on a quick moving ball, and that's exactly what he did. He was able to stop a boundary, so why not celebrate? That's the kind of cricket that the universe boss brings to the table, and after saving a 4, his celebrations is something that you need to keep a tab on. 253 for 7 as Pat Cummins is yet to get off the mark. He's on a duck at the moment from the 3 deliveries that he has faced. Coulter-Nile, we were talking about Coulter-Nile, 67 of 49. How important that knock has been, we'll just give you a figure as to what he has done. Australia were 147 for 6, 249 for 7. So 102 run partnership between Steve Smith and Nathan Coulter-Nile for the 8th wicket.
And the majority of those runs came in the final 3 overs that they were playing together.
Exactly. So that kind of a partnership, 100 run stand for the 8th wicket, is something that has put Australia back in the game. Certainly more than back in the game, because they are at the moment 254. Another short delivery that has been pulled towards the square leg region for another boundary. So Coulter-Nile there's no stopping Coulter-Nile. He's just suddenly, it seems like he has been possessed by one of the Australian greats, and wherever you put that shot actually had a reflection of Ricky Ponting. Ricky Ponting was famous for this kind of hook shots and pull shots. Tell me, didn't you see the side of Ricky Ponting in that shot?
Well, certainly Nathan Coulter-Nile completely dispatching that one across for another boundary, and they are looking on whether it's a 4 or a 6, and Cottrell, the one who's bowling, must be missing someone like him at the boundary at that, because this is a similar kind of trajectory that the ball was travelling at when he took the catch. That would be a 6, a flat 6 that is edging the boundary as the replay shows. And with that, Nathan Coulter-Nile is looking like he'll take the 300 mark on his own.
Forget about the 300 mark. Nathan Coulter-Nile, if that's a 6, will move on to 73. He will become the joint highest scorer for Australia in this innings, as Steve Smith was dismissed on 73 after playing 103 balls, whereas Coulter-Nile had 50 balls for his 73. So you can imagine a player who averages 12.83 with the bat, a highest score of 34, coming into the World Cup. The second game for Australia, they are struggling, and performs in a way where he has given his team an edge. More than an edge. In fact, he's given a complete hand to the Australian team. So, all praises for Coulter-Nile here and his prowess with the bat.
Fantastic from Coulter-Nile to completely dispatching the West Indian bowling attack. He's taking on everybody at the moment, and that would be another 6 to the kitty of Coulter-Nile. He now moves on to 73 in 50 deliveries, just 50 deliveries, and that is essential to see. 260 up for Australia now, and Coulter-Nile this time goes towards the mid-wicket boundary. Another maximum from Coulter-Nile. 2 consecutive 6s for Nathan Coulter-Nile. He now moves on to 79. Australia are with that at 266 for 7 in 45.4 overs.
I was telling you about that. He seems to be possessed, and it certainly is a reflection of Ricky Ponting. Yet again, look at that shot. It was in the slot area, but the bat grip and the position that he maintained after the shot is certainly not of a tail-ender, but that of a top-order batsman. With that, he moves on to 79. Another short delivery that's been swatted down the ground for a single, and with that, he would move on to 80 from 51 deliveries. Australia are 267 for 7 from 52 deliveries now. 80 from 52 deliveries. Australia 267 for 7. And yes, they are approaching the 300 run mark. Even if they are not able to make it to the 300 run mark, the game is certainly on. Well, they have posted a total that would be a challenge for the West Indies team.
This would be a challenge, and I don't think they would be worried about 300 mark as of now. They would be very happy how they have come back. At one point being 38 for 4, they have come back strong, and how Coulter Nile now is the highest run scorer in this match for Australia, and the over is concluded as Australia now with that are at 270 after 46 overs. 268 after 46 overs.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Jeff Marsh was the coach of the Australian team that won the Cricket World Cup in 1999. This makes him the first person to win the World Cup both as a player and a coach.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
268 for 7 is Australia. Yes, this is the very same game where they were tottering at 38 for 4. A brilliant innings there by Steve Smith of 73, which was expected. But what wasn't expected was a knock from Coulter Nile for 80. As we are back with Braithwaite into the attack. A short delivery that's been pulled in the air. We'll have to see whether it's taken or not. It is taken. So a wicket for West Indies finally. It's not Coulter Nile who's been dismissed. It's Pat Cummins who wasn't able to get on with a perfect connection and a good catch there in the deep. 268 for 8 Australia. Pat Cummins departs. Good thing for Australia is that Coulter Nile will take the strike.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
West Indies won the Cricket World Cup in 1975 and 1979. Did you know that West Indies is also the first team to appear in the final of the World Cup twice in succession? West Indies also played the final in 1983 but lost to India. West Indies' Clive Lloyd and Australia's Ricky Ponting are the only two captains to have won the World Cup twice. Lloyd in 1975 and 1979 and Ponting in 2003 and 2007.
268 for 8 is Australia. The last man to be dismissed was Pat Cummins, caught by Cottrell at the deep on the bowling of Braithwaite. So 2 wickets left. However, most importantly, 23 deliveries left, and the batsman to face would be Nathan Coulter Nile, who's at 80 from 52 deliveries. Should he play the 23 deliveries or should he carry on with this attack mode?
Well, he should try to complete the innings for Australia and rather go a little slower and complete the 50 overs. This is now Mitchell Starc who's walking in. He is also able to talk the ball high and for a greater length. And Mitchell Starc, the 29-year-old, usually is known for his bowling, but now has to contribute with the bat, as it's Mitchell Starc who slams that one hard on the offside. Another boundary from it is Mitchell Starc who is batting here for Australia at a boundary.
That was Coulter Nile. There's some error in the counting. It is Coulter Nile, the right-handed batsman Coulter Nile, who has struck that one for yet another boundary. It was an over-pitch delivery, asking to be hit, begging to be hit, and Coulter Nile just obliging with another boundary to his claim. So he moves on to 84 with that shot. As we said, it was an over-pitch delivery, and now he's counting the fielders and the placements like a proper top-order batsman. So Coulter Nile is not the lower-order batsman that you generally associate with today, especially with the score that he has made. 84 from 53, and he has 22 more deliveries to go. We'll see what happens in the next one. Another short delivery that has been pulled towards the mid-wicket area for yet another boundary. Coulter Nile moves on to 88 with that boundary, and Australia are cruising now at 276 for 8. 12 runs short is Coulter Nile for his first century. He's already scored his first half century in today's game. This will be his first century. Will he be able to do it is the big question, Paratosh.
Well, you never say never. We were certainly asking if they are able to get to 300. 300 is very evident right now. He's batting at a strike rate of over 160 at the moment. Nathan Coulter Nile, nobody saw that coming. The current run rate for Australia now 5.94, and in the previous 5 overs, they've batted around the run rate of 13. That is crucial to see, as Nathan Coulter Nile is just slamming every West Indian bowler at the moment. They are batting at 276 for 8 Australia after 46.3 overs. It's Nathan Coulter Nile at strike, and there are some changes in the field, and that is inevitable because West Indies at the moment are worried.
very rightly mentioned, no one saw that coming, and Nathan Coulter-Nile scoring 88 runs from just 53 deliveries. That's something that's like a shocker, not just for the West Indies team, but in a good way for the Australian teams themselves, because his highest score before this game, as we keep mentioning, was 34 at an average of 12.83. Today is a different day. He is a different batsman, and for Australia, let it come whichever way it comes.
Certainly for Australia, they are liking it at the moment. Not very much in the first 10-20 overs when they were reeling for 38 for 4. But at the moment, it's Nathan Coulter-Nile who is doing the bulk of scoring for them. He is batting like an top order batsman. Certainly is showing reflection of David Warner. But this time, he has tried pulling in Mitchell Starc as a single was taken in the previous delivery. But that is missed completely, and that would be a dot. Finally, a dot for Brathwaite after the initial wicket. And with that, Brathwaite will now bowl in his final delivery.
Well, it certainly seems that being in the middle with Steve Smith has resulted in some of the form coming from Steve Smith to Coulter-Nile, because the shots that he's played is that of a proper batsman. The last delivery, meanwhile, has resulted no run, as Starc tried to play that towards the fine leg region but didn't have the legs to go beyond the keeper. 47 overs have been completed. Australia 277 for 8.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Gary Gilmore of Australia bagged 11 wickets and was the highest wicket taker in the 1975 World Cup. Did you know that Gilmore played just 2 matches in the tournament? He took 6 wickets for 14 runs in the semi-final and 5 wickets for 48 runs in the final.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
277 for 8 is Australia after 47 overs have been completed. The West Indies captain Jason Holder would have been very happy with the start that he got after asking Australia to bat. They were 38 for 4, in fact 147 for 6, but a 100-run plus stand between Steve Smith and Nathan Coulter-Nile has helped Australia to get to 277. He'll be facing, as Cottrell bowls, that full delivery has been played as a Chinese cut, one would say. No runs on that occasion. A full length delivery, tried to drive that one, but got the inside edge. No run. O'Shane Thomas will be bowling his last over. He's picked up 2 wickets, given away 58 runs. Coulter-Nile 11 runs away from his maiden century.
Coulter-Nile still batting for Australia. He is the highest run getter in this innings for Australia. That is important to note, as O'Shane Thomas is now steaming in for the second delivery. He is bowled well, but it's Coulter-Nile who has the spotlight as of now. This is wide off the off stump and a fair delivery. So another dot from O'Shane Thomas. He's not bowling in the arc for Coulter-Nile, and that is good to see. He's finally restricting Coulter-Nile, who was scoring at will against others. But it's O'Shane Thomas finally who has restricted some runs for West Indies.
Yes, a couple of dot deliveries there for O'Shane Thomas. It's not the dot deliveries that you will be worried about, because there is Coulter-Nile on the strike, on the crease at the moment. What is important is that he gets those 11 runs and a maiden century. This is a full toss that has been driven down the ground for a single, and with that he'll move on to the 90s. He's nowhere nervous, as he is super confident, and now he's checking the toe end of his bat. So a proper batsman in the making, one would say, for Australia, and this will certainly boost their confidence in the fact that even if we have a collapse like we did today, there are people, there are resources who can pitch up, who can stand up and contribute with the bat. 278 for 8 is Australia, as Starc will face the 4th delivery from Thomas. Thomas has given away 59, picked up 2 wickets. 10 runs is what is needed for Coulter-Nile for a personal milestone of reaching his maiden century, as this one is a short delivery that has been tried to pull, but it's straight to the keeper. No runs on that occasion yet again.
Shai Hoper restricted some runs for his side as he swatted that one away as it was travelling if it had been missed by Hope on that occasion. And it's Mitchell Starc who's batting against O'Shane Thomas. O'Shane Thomas, a fine over from him, contrasting to the previous 5 overs, as this time it has been tucked away towards the leg region. and that will be a single for Mitchell Starc. A double indeed for Mitchell Starc, as now he'll face the final delivery. And smart move from Australia that Coulter-Nile will play the whole of the next over.
We'll have to see if Starc is able to gain a single of this last delivery. Then it would be Starc who would be playing. But the idea, the better sense to prevail would be if Coulter-Nile plays the next over on his own. 288 for 8, and this one is a full length delivery that has been driven towards the mid-off region. There will be a couple of runs taken, we'll have to see. Yes, it has a couple of runs have been completed, so Starc moves on to 4. Australia after 48 are 282 for 8.
World Cup 2019 Cricket Trivia.
Andy Roberts of West Indies holds the record of being most economical bowler in the World Cup history. Did you know he played 16 World Cup matches from 1975 to 1983, in which he took 26 wickets with an economy of 3.24 runs per over. Chris Gayle and Marlon Samuels hold the record for amassing the most runs for a partnership for any wicket in a World Cup game. Did you know the Windies pair made a number 372 runs against Zimbabwe in Canberra during the 2015 World Cup?
49th over now, as Nathan Coulter-Nile is edging towards his maiden century. He is batting at 90 at the moment, and he'll now face the first delivery of the 49th over. This has been missed by everyone, and as Braithwaite bowled on the wider of the off stump, and Chris Gayle, out of everyone, chases that one down closer to the boundary and throws it back. So a double to start off things with, as Nathan Coulter-Nile will heavily accept that.
Yes, 2 byes on that occasion, as it was a full length delivery which Nathan failed to get a bat on, but the keeper raised for his 92, but he's done his job. Take a bow, Coulter-Nile. You've played exceptionally well for Australia. You've helped them score 284, and your job is more than done, at least with the bat.
Certainly done, as Australia are now at 284 for 9 after 48.2 overs with that.
World Cup 2019.